As famed dungeon master Will Smith once said, when trying to come up with an NPC on the fly, I'm the slickest they is. I'm the quickest they is. Did I say I'm the slickest they is? And welcome to Homebrew, the show where we avoid the crushing dullness of everyday life using our two favorite forms of escapism, alcohol and Dungeons and Dragons. This, as you know, is a very special episode of the show. It's a Gaelcon's previews. So we're going to preview our homebrewed version of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. If this is your first time watching, which it may well be, what we do is we play a homebrew campaign based loosely on Irish mythology, and the world is built by the brews and drinks and alcoholic beverages or non-alcoholic beverages we have at the table where we're playing. So, for example, the characters might come across a white hag, and then whether an encounter happens or not is up to how the game is played. I'll introduce myself. My name is Ben Clifford. I'm the Dungeon Master of Homebrew. And going around the table, the virtual table here, why don't we get an introduction from our players? So I have to call them out, which kind of defeats the purpose. But Keelan, how are things?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
I mean, it's odd to say
Any
how
news?
we were talking, you know.
Yeah.
What would you like to know?
Well, yeah, I guess if the audience don't want to know anything, then let's move on. No. Keelan, just tell them who you are, who you play. You don't need to do a visual description. We'll do that in the game itself.
Okay.
But yeah, a little bit about yourself.
I'm playing Huck, a halfling sorcerer / puka sorcerer that you can find out more about if you ever decide to delve into more episodes of the show. Other than that, he is mostly concerned with being friends with people and everyone getting along, and is a little on the naive side of things, and has a penchant for setting everything on fire. But that's just a sorcerer thing.
What are you drinking, Keelan? What's in the cup?
I'm sorry, I actually didn't hear what you said there.
What are you drinking?
Oh, I am drinking a wild red mead Kinsale. It's delicious. Ooh. It's a little heavy for early in the day, but it's kind of like, a mead equivalent of a port. It's delicious. 12%, so it's mild enough.
Of course, a mead equivalent of a port. I have no idea how that might taste.
Like a port. Yeah. It's basically the port there.
Well, any mead in a storm. Wes, introduce yourself and what you're drinking and what character you're playing.
My name is Wes. I'm playing Arlington McGuinness, the Bugbear Barbarian, gentle giant with a bit of an anger issue. I am drinking two variations of White Hag, similar to yourself. We're drinking Phantom and the Dark Druid. I've had Phantom before. It's nice and light. I haven't had Dark Druid before. It's a chocolate coconut pastry stout, so we'll see how that goes.
It's lovely.
Is it? It sounds really nice. Things. I know, that's what I was thinking. It's like they just kind of grabbed things and threw them on a board, but I'm really excited for it. And then we've got the Phantom as a backup.
There's a lot of those pastry stouts that are very popular these days.
Yeah, they come. I mean, I think I had the Siren chocolate stout on the show before, and it was really, really nice. So we shall see. End of introduction.
And finally, last but not least, Lucy, what are you drinking? Who are you? And who do you play?
How did you get on the stream? Yeah. My real name is Lucy, and I play Ignatius O'Fla, who is a half-elf bard who she's to save everyone from having to hear any musical notes. Luckily, she's an artistic bard who paints and draws her concoctions into life. And this is my first time playing D&D, so a classic mistake. I've made my character far too much like myself, probably, in that she's quite inept and rash at things, but overly extremely positive and optimistic. But yeah, clumsy in most circumstances.
I think it's a pretty standard first character in D&D thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I was
it's
going
like
to say, if you've never played Dungeons and Dragons before, by all means, use Lucy as the skeleton in the dungeon who's taken the arrow for you and is just pointing at the traps. Just be like, don't make these
yeah,
mistakes. And by that, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there are no mistakes, only happy accidents.
And what I'm drinking is I'm drinking a lovely Stiegel grapefruit radler because that seems like a good daytime 2%
Is it your
beer
first drink of the
tonight.
day,
And I have
Lucy? Or-
sorry,
That,
It's the
I'm
first
very
one.
hungover. But yeah,
Always start the show out with slurred words.
yeah.
And to finish off the round, I am drinking as you might have seen, a white hag, the Puka. It's a dry hopped lemon sour, berry hibiscus, and ginger. And after that, I have an array of cans in front of me. I won't know which ones I pick until the story dictates, which is always an adventure for me. Sometimes it happens to be quite a strong drink. Sometimes it's a light
Is
and
that how
fresh
you've been
set.
doing it? Do you wait till we name an NPC or something and then drink that drink?
I wait until there's something that. So, for example, I have a Beavertown Gamma Ray, and if I think Beavertown or Gamma Ray might be important or weave in nicely, I will drink that. I have been good on the show. If you know our show, you know we come out every second Tuesday on YouTube. There's a podcast. I've been good in that. Most of the time, I won't show a can to the camera unless I'm going to drink it. Occasionally. And proof is in the pudding. I think I showed Death Before Disco Porter on a previous stream and did not crack it open, as you can see. But it was late in the evening, and I thought, I won't sleep. Or rather, I'll wake up hungover if I get into this 9% porter. So
Yeah, that was the big lad.
before we start the adventure, thank you so much for watching here in the audience. We hope you enjoy it. I want to say a huge thanks to our tech team for making sure we can do this and put this together, not just for Gaelcon previews, but every time we play on the internet. And a huge, huge thank you to Gaelcon for inviting us to do this. It's an absolute joy and shock and pleasure. As we do this session, you might go, why them? We hope most of them will go, that's why them.
It's because there's cameras there.
Is
That's all. You know,
because they've got beers and tech
Yeah.
and don't know any better. So now, without further ado, grab yourself a drink, pull up a chair, as we dive into a world where anything is possible, but not always probable. Welcome back to the realm of Hibernia. And imagine, if you will, a land in its youth, at the very early days of its formation. It's a time so long ago that its stories have evolved into legends, and its legends have ascended into myths. But for the day-to-day warriors, the druids, the healers and herbalists, the gods of this world that roamed its plains, these were simply current affairs. King Tuireadh, having recently lost his arm to the Firbolg Shreng, stepped down for the throne, for only the perfect and unblemished could be considered king of the Tuatha Dé Danann. And up stepped Brez, the half-Fomor. But as king, he was cruel. He taxed the Tuatha Dé Danann relentlessly. Not a sup of beer or crumb of bread could be found for guests he entertained, breaking the most ancient of rules in this land, that of good hospitality. Brez was shite crack. So, when Nuada's arm was healed, resulting in only a small act of filicide, Tuireadh was returned to perfection and to his place as king. The Tuatha Dé Danann gave Brez the boot, a kick up the arse a long time coming. Cast out, angered, ashamed and embarrassed, Brez ran to his daddy, his father, Alatha, and to the Fomorians to raise an army to take back what he considered rightfully his. And so began the Second Battle of Moytura, between the legendary Tuatha Dé Danann and the cruel and gruesome Fomor. But that was then, and this is now, where we find ourselves in the place most stories begin, in the presence of three brave adventurers camped around a fireside. You three are a wee way away from the road. We find you camped up for the night. There is a cool evening breeze in the air. It's one of those rare and idyllic times in the life of an adventurer where you feel settled. You're sort of happy out in the rolling dusk. A purple hue streaks across the sky, thinning out the clouds above, and in the distance you hear a raven's caw. As you pass around a single shared flagon and warm your hearts, for the audience and for myself, can you give a brief description of your character in this moment? So their description, their demeanor, their appearance, kind of just first impressions. If you were a merchant kind of riding by in a wagon and you looked across, what would they see? Starting with Iggy, the half elf.
Yeah, well, Iggy is probably she's beside the campfire, cross-legged on the ground, red hair in braids that are just generally a fuzzy mess with kind of splatters of paint and chalk and stuff. And she's probably just like maybe drawing some little characters and making them dance, sort of as if like maybe like you would be telling a sort of camp story. She's just animating that, perhaps.
Nice. And what's the based on something you're drinking? What's the name of this tale that you're telling for your friends?
Oh, this is obviously the story of the grapefruit rattler, which is the grapefruit stealer that rides into town and steals the grapefruits.
Nice.
So it's a little, and yeah, that's what's happening.
Known for being bodacious and rad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like surfs into town on the back of a horse and scoops up all those grapefruits.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Don't take our gold! Don't take our gold!" And he's like, "I'm just here for the grapefruit." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, oh no, stop!" But yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good person to get robbed by. So
it's like a chupacabra for grapefruits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hook. Why don't you explain to the audience and to myself what you're currently up to, what you look like, any first impressions?
Grant. Well, he is pretty wild looking. He's got some twigs and leaves in his hair. He never really cares about that. He's got a kind of a red bob of hair, which is kind of a wig, which is an item that he has, which is concealing badly some rabbit ears on the top of his head, and he's just kind of flitting about excitedly between the other party members, trying to get them to play a game of jacks with him, and they might be trying to go to sleep or do various other things, and he's just constantly badgering them. And he's got a billowy cloak which says Huck's Punks emblazoned on the back.
Mm-hmm. This is a piece of shared attire that all these adventurers have. On the back of all their cloaks in sort of De Monte, I guess, is Huck's Punks, which for the sort of, I guess, PG nature of this particular show, I don't say it in any way fast. And finally, Arlington. What do we see when the virtual fantasy camera pans to you?
We whip pan across to a tall but sort of lanky bugbear. For anyone not familiar, they're sort of like furry orcs, effectively. He's got thick, tied back hair into a large sort of bun, and a thick, long beard, but it's well brushed and maintained. Bugbears have a reputation for being sort of wild and barbaric, and this Arlington looks more like a gentleman. He's sat cross-legged by the fire. He has a hood and a bandana, which are pulled back. Normally he'd wear those in civilized society. He's wearing leathers and fabrics, and the skin that is on show, you can see, rather than being thick and built, he's more sort of sinewy and of lanky frame. He's also wrapped in a cloak that says Huck's Punks on the back. At the moment, he's sort of enjoying the company of his friends. He's also making a crown of daisy chains, and every so often it snaps just from his larger, awkward hands, and there's a flash of red in his eyes, and he just kind of closes them, takes a breath, exhales slowly, and then resumes making the daisy chain. That's Arlington.
Nice. And for anyone watching, we do have a thing. Just the mention of hairy orcs, both from the orc community and the bugbear community. If you are enraged by the comparison to either creature, we have a thing called the Don't Be That Gygax Award. So if we make mistakes, if we get rules wrong, if we sort of yada yada some stuff, which is known to happen, we're doing this sort of live, and well, not live in this case, but we normally do, and we're doing it while slightly inebriated. So rules get muddled. But the Don't Be That Gygax Award you can win by emailing us at rollforhomebrew@gmail.com with corrections. Please do get in touch. I love chatting the rules. I love kind of chatting anything tabletop role-playing games and Dungeons & Dragons, as does everyone here. And we will only ever get better, as with any game, with just constructive feedback. If
We
it's
should add
hate
that the
mail,
Gygax award is purely verbal.
yes,
But
there's
coveted.
no certificate.
monetary value.
Yeah, you can add it to your CV if you want, but we will not credit it. That
I
kind of thing.
proved Ben wrong once. I know it's on my CV.
Yeah. The fluttering of wings draws your attention to the trees above, and you see two beady black eyes of a raven stare down at you, head sort of cocked, as ravens are wont to do. And with a hop and a leap, it pounces to the ground in a whoosh, transforming into the shape of an elderly woman in black.
Spring
She
to my
peers up at
feet,
you.
axe drawn.
Easy now, you young up. Easy, easy. I'm not here to cause any harm.
Do you want to play a game
I
of cards?
have. Make a persuasion check.
This adventure is already off the rails.
That's pretty good. I think it's 22. Yeah. Yeah, 22.
I'll tell you what. You do a favor for me, and I will stick around for a game of jacks for you.
It seems fair.
The stakes have never been higher. Who are you, old woman? You just apparated from a raven. That's sort of intimidating.
Can't be scared of a frail old woman, can you? Well,
There's no way we know you are an old woman. You were a raven a second ago. We've come across shapeshifters before. What's your name?
Or did I merely land on the raven and puff it away?
She wants to play jacks. No one who's ever been bad has ever wanted to play jacks.
I think historically that's categorically incorrect, but let's take one thing at a time.
You may have heard of me before. There are some who call me the White Hag.
Ooh.
There are some who simply know me as Trouble Brewing. To a few lucky people,
Careful, Ben, you're
I am their Galway Bay, but you may call me the Morrigan. I'm an aspect of the Triple Goddess and Arlington, and it's she does seem to recognize you. On behalf of Mannon and MacLear, whose emblem you carry on your shield, I call for your aid. The Tuireadh Danann are preparing for war.
You're here to conscript us into a battle?
Precisely that, yes.
I mean, we just sort of... I don't know if you were listening to us at first, but we've just settled down and our hearts are at peace. We just retired.
Okay. I know how to take
I might
a
as well
hint.
be chopping wood in a snowy cabin, and you've sort of arrived by helicopter, and it's all very cliched, if I'm honest.
Well, look, I'll leave it there. No game of jacks for your small friend here. And
No, let's not be too hasty. The poor boy got excited.
I'll go for the battle. Let me at him. Hold me back, Arlington. I'm gonna
pick you up by the scruff of the neck, a la Scrappy Doo, and stop you.
Hold your horses, because
you'll
need them.
A horse.
She does peer and goes, I see you're mid-transformation. You should get good at it like I am. I can leap from a tree and just poof.
It's early days.
Where is this battle? It's very quiet around here. What battle are you talking about? It all seems so nice and quiet here. Yeah, there's clearly no battle happening. What are you talking about?
Quiet, you. It's rude to interrupt an old lady.
Damn it.
She's so nice to everyone else and just weirdly mean to Iggy.
Okay, fine.
You wee pup. Well, I was getting to that. The second battle of Moitura is upon us against the wicked Fomor, the nastiest of all, Baelor of the Evil Eye. We're calling for warriors throughout time. And Hux Punks, well, you're some of the greatest warriors of all. Will you fight by our side?
Sounds like she saw our statue.
That's true. We are pretty great. I feel comfortable speaking as the leader for Hux Punks. Yeah, just immediately, no problem. If we play Jack, we're grand. Should send us into the battle.
I promise you a game of, I tell you what, best 2 out of 3. So 3, possibly 3 games, maybe 2 games of Jacks. I'm pretty nifty for an old lady, I'd have you know. I'm quick off my feet.
We'll see.
And you see her kind of whoosh her cloak around herself. And sorry, I didn't really explain what the Morgan looks like, but I think we all have a picture in our brain, right?
I know.
Everyone Morgan is, right? Yeah.
She had, even old, she had this jet black hair that was kind of stringy. A sort of little bulbous nose overrun with a little bit of rosacea, that classic kind of old Irishy look. A little bit flushed around the cheeks from maybe a glass or 2 of mead or port. She, although hunched over, you could tell that in her youth she would have been quite tall and impressive. And also she's a god, so she can change her shape anytime she wants. So she seems quite happy as this frail old lady in this jet black cloak, which seemingly is just cloth fabric until it reaches the very end, where there are just the outline of raven feathers that kind of sweep along the forest floor.
So she did
And
smush that raven.
Yeah, she did. I go through more ravens that way.
I'm the reason they're endangered.
Yeah. They're my ravens. I can do what I want with them.
It's like however every swan belongs to the Queen of England or something.
Ask any magician in this land. They go through more doves, and as is their right.
And so the great dove and raven wars of the magicians and the Morrigan continued.
She sweeps her cloak around herself and once again takes the shape of a raven, but this time much, much larger than before. She is humanoid, kind of medium height. And she stretches out her wings, and in the darkness of her jet black feathers, you do see a pathway into the void of time. And she kind of ushers with her other wing, scooping you with one big, and just pushes you in under her armpit, like a sort of loving mother might? I don't know. My mum's never done that.
This is strangely matriarchally comforting, and also I'm absolutely terrified.
Yeah. Iggy is very afraid, probably at the back, maybe hiding behind Arlington a little bit. Like, what exactly is it? You mentioned time? Yeah. Is that what you call traveling? Yeah. What?
Yeah, I think as soon as she starts scooping us into the portal, I'll push, like, allowing her to push us through. But I'm definitely pushing myself in front of Huck and Iggy with just shield braced up.
Nice. And your shield lights up, kind of blasting out into this darkness, creating a sort of spherical tunnel. And as you all kind of fall forward and you feel your body sort of shrink down into a tiny atom and explode with the potential of the universe and then reform in this other world, years and years and years, generations, eons, eras ago, stepping through, as you sort of do a weird little spiralized twist, you find yourself immediately in the fray of battle. In which case I need you all to roll for initiative.
Holy God. Okay, cool.
Nice.
So she's taken us to a battle that's already happened?
Oh yeah. Like right in.
Cool. Alright, that is a 12 initiative for me.
Nice.
Yeah, 17.
17. And Huck.
16.
16.
Whenever we roll initiative, I'm conscious that I didn't mention at the top of this, I have multi-classed. I'm barbarian fighter. If I'd gone pure barbarian, I'd have advantage on initiative checks, and every time we roll for it, I'm just really regretful.
Like, I wish I had some level of anything.
Couldn't be surprised. Just basically constantly on edge and stressed.
So you see, as you immediately prepare for the dangers around you, all around people are fighting. You hear the clashing, scraping, the screaming of steel, clubs, bodies against bodies. It's mostly, if not all, as you take this in as soon as you can, one-to-one combat. As is only fair in an honorable battle. You don't want to overwhelm people. Overhead, you do hear, before you see, the soaring of spears, the sort of as they whistle through the sky. And in the distance, you hear the loud boom of a magical explosion. There are some around you who have taken the shape of creatures, monsters, animals tearing at each other. And the land itself is a sort of wide and rolling hillscape. It's soggy underfoot, and you're not sure if that's from the natural wetness of the area or the recent bloodshed. In the middle distance, you see a tall and flat mountainscape fill your horizon. And all through the battlefield, you see fighters dealing vital blows, as well as another set carrying bodies safely back to camp. This work, it seems, is done interrupted. When someone falls, the other side is allowed kind of remove them from the field. On a raised hillside, which you notice as a small raven kind of takes to the sky beside you, seemingly cawing with a bit of mirth in her voice, like ha 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 ha, and flies away. On a raised hillside, you see some poets and bards, and they seem to be commentating on the bloodshed. You're unsure if they're here to help or merely just document what's happening in front of them. All around you, you see men here, standing stones, and they offer some cover and options for tactics. And you have yourself a moment to prepare before you feel yourself fully present in this space. So starting top of the round, Iggy, before you're kind of fully materialized, although you are kind of coming to, you can take a round to do anything you wish to prepare.
Okay. You're saying there are stones that you could kind of back up against, like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm probably going to. Iggy would probably try and get someone like that, so she's not in direct danger. And I guess I would just be So she's probably there and kind of getting her bearings, and watching to see where the guys are gonna be, so I can maybe try and follow behind them or protect them in some way. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm like,
so
I'm suddenly going, how useful am I in a battle? I'm gonna
immediately cower.
Behind
a rock,
cowering, and then maybe grabbing I have some especially special chalks, so maybe I'm gonna take those out to have extra strength art supplies in this battle.
Yeah, we gave them a better name on the sheet, I think, like the chalked powder of magical infusement or something. But for the purpose of pure stats, I think they just give you a boon. So yeah, you take out your colorful sticks.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean business, guys. I have these crayons, not those ones. Yeah,
we should give you like a Wolverine like claw with 3 chalks to to really dig into that. Iggy carries with her a sort of charcoal slate taken from the cliff sides of her hometown, of which she draws upon, like a magical etch to catch. So, if anyone's interested in that, you can get out to us, and we'll give you the stats for the artistic bard, the kind of different items that aren't always instruments.
Cool.
Anything else you want to do? I won't count that as anything. Like, you've just used your movements. You got bonus action.
I think that's what. Yeah, that's that.
Cool. We spin. We move from this men here as Iggy backs up against it, and just behind, you hear one of the other warriors go, "Hey, get your own rock!" Oh, God damn it! And we move over to Hook. Hook, you are. It's sort of the circular, almost like one of those. What you call them? Tornadoes of Deaths. At like a metal concert, there's like that mosh pit that just runs in a big old circle. I think that's. Okay. Please correct me if anything. Correct me on that if I'm wrong.
All right. Can I see the kind of spiritual forms of Iggy and Arlington in this kind of midway stage? Grand.
You can.
I'll follow Iggy along towards the rock, and then my main plan will be to cast haste on Arlington, but also if I use my sorceries, twin the spell, so I can cast it on Iggy as well. So they'll both be hasted. It's a concentration spell. I think we have done this in the past. I think sometimes there's situations in which you can't, or we might not be allowed to actually double twin this spell, but we've done it before. So.
Yeah. This is the show is called Homebrew. One, because we homebrew and home rule a lot of stuff, and two, it is a sort of a rule or cool way of playing in that I trust the players not to take the piss, and they trust me not to take the piss the other way. That's kind of our general vibe, and it's working so far. So we don't know. I think you can twin haste. It was enlarged reduced that we had some.
It follows the rules. I think it's just the concentration thing. I'm not sure if you can double concentrate stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, Jeremy Crawford, you're watching, right? Just let us know if we're getting
Stop
things
lurking,
wrong.
Jeremy.
Get out of here, Jeremy. But yeah, we'll say it goes off without a hitch.
Cool. So yeah, you're both hasted. You're a size bigger. You weigh 8 times as much. All of your equipment is. Oh no, that's not bigger. That's enlargement. You're just
I
faster.
was thinking, I was like, ooh, this sounds cumbersome.
Because I was going to enlarge you both and decided against.
Yeah.
We used to often do that, but I was like, yes, you are slower and fatter, but you taste.
I said haste, but you actually just got fatter. I mean, that's your own
You
Someone
meant
else.
to cast haste, but in your excitement.
I meant to point out that our version of haste is Jack haste. It just speeds up. You age 4 times faster, and you've got Jack syndrome, so that's why you're bigger and fatter. That's the only. That's this rule. But yeah, you are faster.
So you get your speed is doubled. You get a +2 bonus to your AC, and you have advantage in dexterity saving throws. And you can also use it for a dash or a disengage or use object as a kind of an extra action.
Cool. Very
Arlington, you're used to this state. You've felt the rush of haste before.
Live
You've got
on
that
haste.
sweet hit. Yes. So as you sort of shimmer into existence in this battlefield and take in almost everything that I described up top, what would you like to do?
Can we tell if any of the battling soldiers are wearing the colours or symbols of Man and MacLear or the Morrigan?
Here's the interesting thing about Irish mythology. They describe the Fomor as like gruesome, ugly, horrendous people. And then in some tellings of the Second Battle of Tuireadh, it's like they say it's really hard to tell one side from the other. So I think it's just the victors wrote the history books, and they're like, those ugly guys. They're basically the same. It's a funny little thing. The Second Battle of Tuireadh is considered the fourth invasion, maybe the fifth invasion of Ireland. There's 6 in total. And oddly enough, the Fomor never invaded, so I've got a little soft spot for them, in fact, but I think we took their land. But they're always there as like the giants who've always been there and caused such problems in these stories. And I'm like, I think they were here first, guys.
Savages that were already here.
Yeah, exactly.
First, another way. Is there anyone who's an immediate threat to us? Like, I want to know basically who we should, if I can deduce who I should be swinging at, basically, or should I just be? I don't want to start swinging indiscriminately and then killing an NPC. That would be helpful.
Make a very quick investigation check. It will be your action, but being a barbarian, you can't really. You're not formed yet to attack anyone.
Well, so. Extra action from haste anyway, so that's not the end of the world. Yeah. That is a 9.
Yeah.
A 9. It is hard to tell in the immediateness of this situation who's who and what's what. You do notice some very minor, there's no major differences, and you don't have the wherewithal to notice any minor differences between these two.
Okay.
Just that it seems to be one-on-one fighting, all carrying versions of like short swords. Some have like these hurls that have been kind of carved and sharpened at the top, almost like rudimentary early day axes, maybe. And more have that sort of weapon. There's a couple with shillelaghs, a couple with just kind of makeshift stuff, but a lot of them seems to be fairly well forged.
Is there anyone, and I promise I'll progress with my turn now, is there anyone on the battlefield who seems particularly intimidating, like, a particularly big guy or a siege weapon or something? Is it all fairly even, or is there anyone in particular that draws the eye?
Well, yes, funny you should ask. And you feel it before you see it. You feel from behind you the crowd is parting. And as you turn around and over a dip in the land rising up towards you, you hear a booming voice. Cower in my path. Bend your will and submit. And as this kind of booms across the land, you get the feeling that that's probably the biggest bad on the battlefield.
Yeah, submit is not great terminology.
Submit your papers. Yeah. Submit your tax forms. Actually, they are collecting taxes, so submit your taxes to a Danan, and we will deduct them accordingly.
Cool. I'm going to. Normally, I think Arlington has a bit of trouble getting his rage on, but I think he's buzzing from haste. His friends are in danger, and he's pretty unhappy that he's been taken away from his daisy chain. So I've used my action. I'm gonna use my bonus action to rage. So Arlington kind of like fades. His eyes go grey out a little bit, and then they sort of look bloodshot. his demeanor sort of changes. He hunches over. He pulls the bun out of his hair and it starts looking a bit wild. And his alternate personality, Grud, takes over. And he's going to make a beeline for that booming voice. My speed is currently 80.
Mm-hmm.
Can I reach him? With haste?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Hook and Iggy, you both kind of move your back to this standing stone, and as Arlington materializes and does a 180 towards this voice, you see him sprint off in the direction of this creature. And as you do, sort of in a nice little, I guess like an 8-bit or 16-bit animation, where it's not that the land is rising, it's just that the horizon's coming up. You know that move?
Yeah.
As you sprint
We
towards
ran out of
it,
budget filming this battle scene already.
we're down to pixelated. Just in case our stream is low quality, we're a 16-bit show.
It's intentional.
Yeah. This large, hulking, spherical form takes shape, and it's floating through the air towards you. You see one large eye peering across this chaos.
Oh, God.
And a wide and vicious grin crosses Baelor's face. And from behind this form, you see, one by one, pooling out, eye stalks emerge. There's 10 in total, and they're taking in the full scope of the battlefield. The fighters around you instantly raise their shields. And with this, you go, that's the Tuireadh Danann. Got it. And you begin to kind of spot that some of them have the Triskel of Manannán mac Lir. Some of them have not Triskelion. Yeah.
Triskelion.
Some of them have Triskelion of Manannán mac Lir, which, side note, also myself and Wes's school uniform logo.
Yeah.
What a cool twist. I always thought it was dumb when I was younger. It's cool now. They are carrying that, and they seem to be carrying some more kind of Celtic knots and symbols that you would recognize as the gods of Hibernia.
Okay.
Which recently in our show you met some of, so you kind of take that all in. They raise their shields and take a leap back, and it seems like no one is brave enough to face Baelor one-on-one. And in a rather terrifying game of not it, you find yourself suddenly on an open battlefield with warriors from both sides giving you a wide berth. There are some large standing stones in between you and him, and you know from having seen these before and around the plains of Hibernia, the kind of runic ones that you've come across, their purpose and intention is for warriors to strap themselves to and remain upright in the very end game of battle. You know, that's kind of a last-ditch effort. And as Baelor floats towards you, suddenly all eyes focus in your direction. His large central eye opens, and you feel a wave of nullifying energy flow through you. You've used your action.
I've used one of my actions. I have another one.
Yes, so you do have. Yeah, you do have another one.
Would it take my full movement to get into melee range with him?
I think the 80 feet that you ran, some of that is covered.
Cool. As I'm charging, I raise my my shield with Manannán's symbol on it. It's kind of glowing. Is the light coming across in this? It's not too
interesting enough. Your shield does not glow.
Okay, cool. That's still, I'm kind of brandishing it to kind of, one, let people know which side I'm on, and two, kind of, I'm trying to put a bit of fear into this Baelor fellow. And rather than like shouting anything inspirational, I think Arlington's gone a bit mad. There's like drool running down the side of his mouth as he's sprinting at 80 feet a 6 second, and he's just roaring with like bloodlust. And I'm going to, I'm just going to attack. I'm going to try and go for the big target. I'm going to swing with my axe at Baelor's eye, if I can, please.
Absolutely. Make an attack roll.
So I get 2. The first one is an 18 to hit. And the second one is not good. That's a 9 to hit.
So your first one does land true as you sort of grab your one-handed axe and shield and run forward. And I'm picturing it's like almost like a leap anime style through the air as you come down and sink it in.
Oh, everything's
the second
it's all anime. It's all very anime.
it's we go to silhouettes. He's cutting 2. Game over. All you do is flick the axe at your side. You're not even sure if it's unsheathed, but Baelor just disappears into. No, you sink this axe pretty firmly into the top of this creature's crown. But it's that you can't get it out to get that second attack off. It's not that you missed. It's just that the
Cool.
It's sunk so deep from your momentum and your speed that you didn't get an attack. So roll some damage.
That is going to be 11 slashing damage with my rage modifier, which I never get to use.
Speaking of, though, your axe is a +2 magical axe.
Correct.
Correct. So the +2 doesn't apply because it is no longer a magical axe.
Ooh. Now
Yes.
that affects the hit, so it would have been -2 to hit then.
Oh, that's a good point. Actually, I wonder if that's the case. I was trying to look this up during the week, whether the magical properties of an axe, whether
Oh,
it's
sorry.
the,
Yes, it's
you know,
just
because
sorry. The magical. It is no longer. Well, no. If it's no longer magical, the +2 would affect, but it is no longer a magical weapon. So if he's immune to regular
I
slashing
will
damage,
defer to. No, I'll defer to you as our table rules lawyer. Whether you think a +2 on an item is a magical property or just a very well forged property, and the other things your axe can do, like cast spells and stuff, they're the magical properties. What do you think?
+1 and +2 is it usually makes it a magical weapon, but I'm more than happy for this to be a +2 bonus, so that it's just regular, and then it's not qualified as magical damage because.
You answered your own question at the beginning there. So yeah, it would be down 2, unfortunately.
Cool.
So as this axe sinks in and you kind of smile with a vicious one hit, this creature just pulses and you realize that you did not actually break skin, just that it caught in its kind of folding form and it pulses back and you slide back in front of it. Neither attack hitting.
Cool. Pretty good. I will. I've used my bonus action. I'm not going to attack him again. Yep, that's the end of my turn. I'm going to square up to him and just kind of do a double take at my axe. Like that normally works.
It's normally so good.
Yeah, just going to let it a little bit of a growl and try and keep this guy focused on me.
Absolutely. And as the thundering of charging warriors away from this scene takes place, and you can hear almost the of magical transportations and teleportations, people try to scatter. There's some weapons that even skid her to your feet. Yeah, except reverse. They're coming back into the portal.
This is the opposite of firing.
Yeah, where's that wing?
We go. We are top of the round. Iggy and Huck, you are 80 feet away from the scene of this crime, this murder. I don't know. The scene of this battle. As I keep saying Baelor. I think it might be Balor. Either way, forgive us. Baelor of the Evil Eye.
Balore
looks down towards you. And with its eye wide open, let me just check something here. You see it blink closed. And 3 of its little eye stalks point directly towards you as we decide what they do. Good old.
I made him blink. You all saw. I heard him. I heard him the most. He had to blink.
Right. The first one.
I'm the equivalent of an eyelash in his eye.
Nice.
Arlington, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, Ben. I'm gonna make. Okay. Wait, do I get advantage on these?
You're raging?
No, I don't. Not with rage. Damn it. That is an 8. I rolled really badly.
Yeah. One of its eyes looks towards you, and from it, this beam of magical energy comes towards you, striking you firmly in the chest. It seems to have just pinpointed through your shield and axe, and you feel your body and all your muscles just seize up.
Not my muscles.
Yeah, your muscles, those sweet muscles. They seize up as you are paralyzed for 1 minute.
Oof.
And you can make that saving throw at the end of your turn, and you will end it on a success. But for the time being, you're completely paralyzed.
Cool.
It looks at you with another stalk, and oh no. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
You have advantage.
I think
you're paralyzed. Yeah. You automatically fail. And then I need to get these guys.
As a D&D fan, I love that this is happening. As a character and player, I hate that this is happening.
I was like, oh, we can do a one-shot? Oh, brilliant.
As in, I'm going to kill the barbarian in one shot. Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually never get to kill you guys. This is brilliant.
And any attack rolls he has against me. Any attack rolls have advantage. Oh god, I just looked up paralyzed because it never happens. Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature. Shit.
Well, I don't think technically this is an attack, as it's a spell save, or sorry, it's a skill save on your
for knowledge.
Yeah.
Paralyzed is real bad.
You take 40 points of force damage.
Now that is halved because I'm raging, and I'm a
you are
I'm a bear
total,
barbarian,
yeah.
so so it's 20.
Still
a lot.
20. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
As this hits you, you feel parts of your armor just sort of float away as like ash, and you realize how close you might have come to just being turned to. Speaking of endgame, to being turned to dust. It looks at you once more with this with another one of its stalks. Okay. Yep. That's weird. Which is great because they're random. This is what makes it fun in D&D. If you've never played D&D before, it's so rare that you get this level. I should point out to anyone watching, these characters are level 8. Not advised to go up against this particular creature if you know what it is.
We're 7, level 7, I think. Aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, you maybe are. Even worse.
That's good to know that you've balanced this encounter for 3 level 8.
Good to know that our DM knows what level we are. That's good.
That's fine. Just means you have to fight dirty. We'll start fighting dirty.
Hey, Ben,
yes.
Can I use my bend luck before you?
Yes, absolutely.
So I can see.
Is there a range?
I think you can wait to see what he. With bend luck, you can see what he gets first. I think.
No, well, it's when a creature makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw. I can use my reaction to spend 2 sorcery points.
Yes, but I think you can see what he gets, so you don't know if you have to use it or not.
Up to you. But yeah, I'm saying at the start in case.
Is there a range on bend luck, or is it just within sight?
Within sight. So provided I can see this giant creature.
Yeah, you get this actually. It's quite a picturesque, if not so gruesome scene of Arlington kind of frozen in place and almost like an eclipse, this spherical form just like coming up over the hill, like a rising moon, shaping Arlington in what would be quite a cool t-shirt, but like not a cool situation to find yourself in.
Dawn of the second day, this giant eye in my face.
You can use bend luck, but you'll be using it on Arlington's roll because technically all of these aren't.
You can use bend luck after the roll is made, but before the effects happen. So because I'm already paralyzed and hit and all. So
Arlington, I need you to make I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, I am not good at those. Oh, natural 20. Ooh.
Hey.
Nice.
I don't think I've disadvantaged that because of thing. No, only strength and dex.
I don't think so. Yeah. This final eye sort of pulses in and out towards you in rather a sort of soothing and hypnotic pattern, and you feel like the world is sort of beginning to just sort of melt away. But in your rage, you go, "No, it is not nappy time for Arlington. It is fighting time.
I'm not angry. I don't need a nap.
No, you do not need to put me down."
Is nappy time about sleeping, or is it about him shitting himself?
Yeah.
Sometimes both. Sometimes bugbear poops are so big that they tucker yourself out.
That's where the phrase, regularly bugbears are just absolutely pooped, and then that's both. It covers both situations.
Yes, exactly. You resist the effects of its sleep ray. Nice. That is the end of Baylor's turn.
A relief through my clenched teeth.
Yeah. So we don't
Iggy.
by bend luck.
No, all good.
No.
That's good.
Unless you particularly want to reduce my natural 20.
Yeah.
You could do.
Yeah, no.
Let's see how much you take.
Iggy, it's your turn. You see this kind of chaos. You see everyone kind of scatter away from this giant creature. You actually might know what this is because you've done a little bit of research into the annals of Hibernia. And far away in a plane of existence that...
Sorry. Do I know, is this the Moor demon? Or no? Is this the...
Ooh.
Yes,
Character knowledge.
Yes, so this fits almost identically the description of the Moor demon, which has been...
which you got from the can of beer,
terrorizing
right?
your town. Which I got from... Do we have a beer called Moor? No. What did we get that from?
No,
just because it was like near some moors? And it was kind of a fun play.
Executor, but with one eye. The Pokemon.
Yes, yeah. It came from a Graciosa can of Hopefully Brewing have a can called Graciosa, which is like a palm tree with an eye in it. And
Oh
we,
yeah,
and
I
just
remember that.
yeah, if you're watching Google Hopefully Graciosa, you'll see what we mean. And it's just what it turned out being was an artist's bad sketch of a beholder, because they're like, it has these things, and they're like, yeah, like leaves, I got it. It has a big eye. It's like, yeah, I got it. Like a tree. It's like, what? Yeah. They just couldn't picture it floating, I guess, so they just put a trunk on it.
Yeah, because
that was a bit of in-world lore.
This was the demon that was like plaguing Iggy's life and family and village and killing all these people. This like horrible creature, and then you were like, "It's this guy. Look, it's a funny
It's a
pineapple
goofy
man."
tree.
Yeah,
It's this goofy tree.
but the way you're describing it now definitely sounds more of the terrifying thing that Iggy knows it to be. But do I know anything
Is this pretty
particular
why
about
Iggy was having a hard time getting people to come and help? Because whenever she told them about it and drew a sketch, they were like, "Oh, that's adorable." It's like, "No, please, terrifying demon thing." It's like, look at his little, look at his little leaves.
Yeah. It does fit that description, or fits more what you were picturing. You're like, it couldn't have been that cutesy little tree. It has to have been this thing. But you do know that this particular creature cannot possibly be the same demon.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, no way, no how. This isn't them.
Son
But
of
it is a
war.
version of them.
Okay.
Actually, we're in the past. It's probably his grandmore.
Yeah. My great grandmore. Please, I'm Mr. Beholder. You can call my father Dr. Beholder. So it's your turn, Iggy. What would you like to do?
Sorry, the audio cut there for a second for me. So what Iggy will I'm going to run towards where Arlington's, but in that with a sort of cautious, no, mate, don't do that. When I see our lovely barbarian just collapse, paralyzed, and in a state of kind of the panic, it also kind of turns into more angry, fuzzy-haired rage, and trying to do something helpful. I want to cast Phantasmal Force on the Baylor creature.
Absolutely. Can you remind me what the range of that spell is, and remind the audience what it does?
It's 60 feet range, so we were about 80 away. So that's why can I do that? As in, like, so I'm running about 20 feet, so I'd like to still stay 60 feet away from him.
Sure. And I need to make a saving throw, I believe.
Yes, please.
So as I do that, explain to the audience what's going on. Intelligence? Okay. Yeah, got it.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you were saying there.
So explain your spell to
what
the spell does. Yeah.
What she's going to be doing, and in a state of sort of panic, seeing Arlington suddenly frozen on the ground. This creature has sort of like stalks with eyes coming out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to very quickly draw the creature, but what I want the vision for it to see is for it to have an extra stalk with an eye coming out of itself as a part of it, and that's just like banging it on the head, like a sort of like as if he has one arm like hitting himself, in attempt to sort of distract him from Arlington, and so maybe he has to deal with this strange extra limb that's attacking him.
Yeah, so is this what is your spell save DC?
15.
15. So as you draw this and you get the feeling that this creature is paying some attention to some sort of illusionary attack, it just sort of shudders a little bit, and that seems to dissipate, and you get the feeling that your spell did not take hold, that this creature has reached your spell save DC and saved against it.
Damn it.
I enjoy the moxie of doing a second level stop hitting yourself.
And essentially it was like she just drew a caricature. She's like, you're nearly about to kill my friend. Well, look how stupid you look here. Like maybe she thought like so she probably went like, that didn't work. Maybe that wasn't the right idea. Back to back
to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Maybe I should draw a movie board.
You have your bonus action, I believe.
Yeah, yes. You have an extra action from haste as well.
Yeah, your haste, you get an extra action and you're moving again.
So could I get to Arlington and cast another spell with that action?
No.
So your full movement is 30 feet.
60,
so you the closest.
Oh.
Yeah, you could. Sorry, yeah, you could get 20 feet within Arlington, and then use an action.
No, what I was going to do, I need to be able to touch him. So never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also because you've cast a level spell,
I think as long as it
You
was an
wouldn't.
action, I think she's okay. Isn't that it? It's
Oh
just
yeah, that's true.
it couldn't
Actually,
be a
yeah, as long
bonus
as it's not a
action.
bonus action, you're correct.
I only know that because
But yeah,
I was
you-
confused
What do
by
you
that for a very long time.
it's one of those rules. You are completely correct. So you could only get within 60 feet of them, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. No. Then. Are there any more of the stones that I can hide behind here? Can I? If I'm now
Not a bad
close to the
idea.
creature, but can I jump back behind it as I'm trying to think of what to do next there for my next go?
I think breaking line of sight of with the creature made entirely of death eyes is not the worst plan.
Mhm.
Yeah. So trying to get
So
closer
you hide
obviously to it,
behind.
but hiding again. Because you said there was some
Yes,
stones between us, so I don't know.
you can zip between these standing stones to fire off your phantasmal force and then hide behind one. Anything
Perfect.
else you'd like to do before the end of your turn?
Can I? This is where I'm. Which is sending inspiration useless here, or if someone is paralyzed? Like, is that
You can inspire someone who's paralyzed. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to show. I'm going to quickly draw Arlington a picture of him standing up to try and tell him like, oh, you should just get up, here, and send some inspiration to break out of paralysis to Arlington.
Nice.
Yes.
Like maybe the power of
Very
positive
appreciated. Visualize your dreams.
At the end of your turn, this creature pulls out another eye stalk and looks directly in front of you, Arlington. And seeing that it hasn't sort of completely destroyed you and gotten you out of its path, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. Which you can't.
Myself or Iggy?
Paralyzed. Yourself, Arlington.
No, I automatically fail Dex.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, automatically fail Strength and Dex.
This kind of corrupted, kind of broken, twisted little like fraction of a stalk looks towards you, and a singular green beam of energy just goes straight towards, like right between your forehead, taking
Sniper!
You take 55. You take 55 necrotic damage.
Also halved. So
is it everything except psychic? Yeah,
everything except for psychic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That still knocks me unconscious.
Right. This bit of necrotic damage pulls you in, and as you drop to 0 hit points, you feel this sort of green energy pulsing through your body. You feel your hasted heart just boom, 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 trying its best to stay alive. And with a singular breath, paralyzed and then sort of broken, you die.
Like dead.
Like dead. A death ray just pinned you, and you are now dead. And I think that's where we will take our part on break. We'll be back in a bit to see what happens, and we will chat to you then.
No.
Hi, Evil Goateed Ben here. Thanks for watching our Gaelcon Previews one-shot. If you like what you see, you can catch our full campaign over at youtube.com/homebrewquest. Or we're also available as a podcast if that's more your speed. Please do like, comment, subscribe, do all the clicks. Those things really help a show like ours grow and reach a wider audience. And if you want to get in touch, if there's anything you see in the show that you want to correct, or if you just want to chat tabletop role-playing games, we are at Homebrew Quest across all the usual social channels. Cheers, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to part 2 of Homebrew, the second battle of Tuireadh, a very special one-shot we're doing for Gaelcon Previews. If you are just jumping in now, what we do is we play a homebrewed game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, loosely based on Irish mythology, but more so based on the brews and drinks and beverages we have while we're playing. So part 2 is always a little bit looser because we're slightly more buzzed, as alcohol is known to do, but always just as fun. And to catch you up on the story so far, and this is both for the players and for you, the audience, we are in the middle of a long, flowing, rolling hillside, soaked with the bloods of warriors from both sides of the Fomorians and the Tuireadh. And our trio of adventurers, Hux Punks, have found themselves transported back in time at the request of the Morrigan to help the Tuireadh in this battle. In front of them floats this orb, single-eyed, multi-eye-stalked creature known as Baelor of the Evil Eye, or in Dungeons & Dragons terms, known as a Beholder. And Iggy and Huck, as you rush towards to catch up with your colleague,
co-worker,
fellow adventurer Arlington, you see these multiple beams of magical energy just firing from this beholder at Arlington, and just as you make it up to him, you see the life from his eyes fade away. You see his final breath escape. You see this sort of crackling green arcane energy frazz through his body, making his bugbear hairs stand up and then fall down as he slumps to the ground, quite clearly dead. Huck, what would be your reaction to this?
Oh, I mean, complete despair. Arlington!
Yes, friend.
I mean, like, basically tears in his eyes immediately. As you said, I'm already dashing there before I even know that I'm doing that. So I'm already dashing towards it. And then, depending on the scope of my reaction, it's to cast as many spells as possible, fireballs at the,
Nice.
at the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You get kind of a what I'm going to call a narrative reaction to this situation, of which you get to open up and sort of lay into Baelor of the Evil Eye. So what would you like to do, and what do I need to roll to save from that happening?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, he's done badly.
This is basically like a Reaper from Overwatch, just firing around in a circle.
I have never decided to twin Fireball, and I'm wondering if that's just because I haven't needed to, or if it's not possible.
What's the limitations on twin spell?
If it targets us, it has to target an individual. It normally can only target one person. Now, Fireball is an area, so I don't
very
know
much an area, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So
how that works.
point of order, you probably can't, as
Yeah,
it has to be.
So, I cast Fireball. I have 150 foot range, and I'll cast it at 4th level. So 9d6.
Nice. All right. Yeah. You layer into them. Is it dexterity saving throw?
Let me double check. It is dexterity saving throw of 16.
Right. On the dice, Baelor got 18. Being an orb himself, he knows how orbs work. So he's like, can't sphere the sphere, man. That's what he thinks. Are you me? And 50,000 beholders are birthed from your explosion.
He must get so confused every time the sun rises.
Is that me? The beautiful orb in the sky?
Every morning. I think it's me.
But it still takes half damage.
Can I use my bend luck to potentially try to lower its score? I can.
Yes. So rolls again?
No, he rolls a d4.
I roll a d4, and I can add or subtract that from the creature's roll.
Yes, you absolutely can.
It's a very cool ability. I'm a big fan of bend luck.
It's a D&D, baby.
Was 2 enough?
2 brings it down to a 16, which is your saving throw.
14
means he succeeds, yeah.
Damn it.
But well done. Like, there is a part of it where the fabric of reality sort of tries to contain Baelor in this space to keep it there, and he just manages to break out with a big scream of, no one can contain me.
You're
but
just
it's still
a big jobby.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
It's part of its eye just goes, oh, I am just a big... So roll your damage, and Iggy, if you can plan what you want to do, we can actually do that while Keelan's rolling damage dice.
Surely, I don't do damage, right? If it
you do half damage.
Oh, do I half damage?
Yeah,
of course.
Like you hit him either way. It's just whether or not he can get hit by the fringes or the main central.
Let me get 9.
Gav would be proud of the use of this many d6.
Yes. Yeah. get an absolute mammoth of d6, and as you count that up, we'll move on to Iggy. Iggy, you get the same sort of reaction and move.
Yeah, similar. I would, and I won't do it now, but a blood curdling scream of Arlington's name, for sure. And then I think she's just going to freeze for it and look around and look for the crow and just start shouting to the essentially, crow lady. Well, can we go back home now? This is great, but I think can we just reverse this? Do your time thing. What? Like just trying to look around for if I can see that woman who brought us here, and. Can I see her anywhere? Can I see
the crow lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see her circling in the sky above.
Okay. Oh, then can I
Just watch it.
can I message to her to to send her a message and say and scream that some of that help, please. Yeah, come and just Arlington, you brought us here. Look what's happened, and try and ask her to save us.
Yeah. Yeah, make a persuasion roll.
Sure.
It was 32 on dice, so 16.
16. Nice.
Not bad for a fail.
Yeah.
32 damage would have been very nice, though.
21.
21.
Yeah.
Yes. As you scream out across the battlefield, and this kind of high-pitched anguish sort of ricochets and echoes through the land, you see this raven circling around, and you can see on its orbit kind of peers down at you, hears you, understands you, and then dive bombs towards Baelor of the Evil Eye, and successfully persuaded to attack. I'm going to let Baelor roll a dexterity saving throw as one raven splits into 3 ravens, splits into 9 ravens, 18, 36, as this horde of ravens, 36, 72, 144, 288.
Is his nose bleeding? I can't tell if his nose is bleeding yet.
Nintendo 64. As this explosion of ravens sort of dive down in a piercing attack towards Baelor, successfully deciding to give you a hand. Why don't you roll 8d6 and I will roll a dexterity saving throw?
Cool.
What happened with Hook's fireball, by the way? Did he seem rocked by it?
He took the damage.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We've applied that.
Yeah, that has been applied.
Okay, 24.
So 8d6. 24. And he only got that. Yeah, so 24 damage. Dealt directly from the Morrigan. And as all these ravens and crows just fly down, like cawing, tearing shreds off Baelor, like pecking out his eye stalks, and there's just this flurry of feathers. He lets out an incredibly blood-curdling, disruptive roar, and to sort of to speed on the battle, as this is day one. You see, we kind of pull back slowly as like some epic Zimmer or Enya plays. And as one by one, the 3 of you do fall. Arlington obviously first, and Iggy and Hook. And as the world goes dark, and what we're seeing is this beholder like lifting up these men here with telekinesis and like firing them at you, raising them above you and smashing down kind of swarts of enemies. He, with a charming ray, sort of whips in some of the Tuireadh to fight against you, and you get overwhelmed. And as all this closes in on top, the 3 of you feel yourselves floating. There is a sense of calm about you. All around you is darkness, and as the thought crosses your mind that you might be dead, one by one, you open your eyes, and you find yourself soaking in warm and fragrant waters. Off to the side, there is a tall man smiling and adding crushed flowers and herbs to this well, chanting under his breath. He wears a simple straw hat, a set of workman's dungarees, and looks up at you smiling. Ah, you've come to. How are you all feeling? Looks towards you.
Could I get some cucumber for my eyes, please?
Oh, Absolutely.
Oh.
And just a silver platter comes up and two little cucumbers. Just
Oh, thank you so much.
Can I eat the
uh,
cucumbers off of his eyes?
you can. Before you consume, ensure you're not allergic to cucumber.
Why
I
would I
will.
request cucumbers before why would I ask for them if I'm finally getting a bit of civilized treatment. Now that I've died, I get to relax in a bath. I just want to have some cucumbers in my bloody... Ignatius and Huck,
Ah,
are
well,
you also dead? What happened?
Oh, after you died, it went a bit mad, and that's all your fault, really. The
Well,
whole
that might be a bit harsh, but not completely unwarranted. Well, at least we're all comfortable.
I
I
oh, my
must
friend
confess,
is.
I was sort of getting a bit weary of washing in rivers and pooping in bushes, and it's nice to have a bit of
I
civilized
and now
comfort.
we have an eternity of playing games. Nothing but fun.
Yes, it's not
Are we
perfect,
dead?
but
Is that? And I,
Well, actually, point of information: none of you are dead.
I know I was
Uh,
definitely dead.
no, I'm
I
positive I
remember
was also dead. Yes.
definitely happened.
yes,
mm,
you were dead. None of you are dead.
oh, that's I like that as a pedantic change. Ooh.
This is the well of Slania, the healing baths of the Tuireadh, where we resuscitate and revivify any of our fallen soldiers. And you look around, and there's just all these soldiers just relaxing in these steaming baths, being like, another day fighting, another day dying.
Well, that sort of takes the teeth out of this thing, don't you think? What's the bloody point of a war? Well, that's careless of me. I apologize. I'm glad you're all alive. Well done. Good battling. Well done.
Well, I mean, if the other side can't do it, then we'll have this war done in a short order.
Yes, do they also have sort of resurrection baths? Is that
Oh, us, no, they don't.
Oh,
us?
oh, this is
Yes.
great. I remember
I'm
getting
sorry.
literally
Well, you might
from
say,
Lynn.
oh, God,
Great.
no, but
I'm gonna-
Ah,
oh.
I'm so sorry. What was your name, my good sir?
well, I'm Dean Kecht. I'm one of the healers here of the Tuireadh. You've surely heard of me. I mean, surely somewhere, wherever you're from, Dean Kecht still exists.
Have we heard of him?
No. Well, actually, make a history check. No, do the game
No.
we're playing.
now is a correct answer. I rolled
Yeah, I would agree with that. I just thought I'd check if it was like public knowledge. 15 for
Mm.
Arlington, which is surprisingly high.
Arlington, you actually did hear of Dean Kecht in one of our recent adventures with Quail. It's played by Orlan Idul. When you were in the astral plane and meeting the gods, they mentioned that Dean Kecht hasn't been around in is MIA.
Well, you see, I don't mean to brag, but I've sort of been in the company of gods, oh, goodness, several times now. I've sort of been to their home. I'm in their, on their, we're very close, very esteemed colleagues. And, while I've heard of you, they don't seem to, I didn't see you there.
Please say no more, boy. It's dreadfully boring knowing one's future. Don't spoil the surprise on me.
Well, that just raises further questions, I'm afraid.
Unless it's about the
Are we from the future? What's happening here?
well, you're from the future helping the gods of the past on behalf of. Did Manon and McLear not fill you in on the role of being one of his, well, I guess you'd call you Sentinel?
I'm afraid we weren't brought here by. Well, I shouldn't say here. I don't know where here is. We've never been in the company of Manon and McLear. We've certainly heard of his reputation, and as far as I'm aware, we represent him and fight in his name. But it was more godly means that brought us here. Are you familiar with the White Hag? The
Yes,
weights
yes.
and measures.
I call her my Galway Bay, but that's just between you and me.
I don't think I'd dare to use the word bay around her. She's utterly terrifying. She can turn into 128 ravens. It's terrifying.
Well, Mananan is a god. I thought you actually said you were colleagues. Have you not met? Anyway, look, like I said, don't spoil the surprise of the future. I'll find what that is. Let's focus on the imminent battle of the present. And it seems like you guys are all healed up, so up and at 'em.
Just before we get hurled back into the breach, could you perhaps highlight sort of the limitations of this process? I mean, should we be going in here with abandon and knowing we could sort of? I mean, my good friend Huck here is the potential of a nuclear weapon. Could I potentially strap him to me, run into the fray, and take out most of the fleet, confident in the fact that you could wake me back up in a comfortable bath with cucumbers this time? I'm so sorry, my boy. I didn't hear you. I was ensuring I had cucumbers.
I was saying I'd be against that.
But with no repercussions. If we could survive the process, it certainly alters our tactics.
Oh, aye, you're going to be in a lot of fireballs. That's already decided.
That's fine. That's fine. I haven't got any long-standing mental issues because of the time you annihilated me with a fireball. That's fine. Ooh, I've got a lot to process.
Well, in a way, yes. Provided nothing happens to affect the workings of the Well of Sonia, then... I mean, you're from the future. Did anything happen to the Well of Sonia during this battle?
As far as I'm aware, in our timeline, or wherever we're from, there is no method of returning those from the dead. At least none that I've encountered. But then again, I did live in a field for most of my life, so I'm not 100% certain. Ignatius, have you ever heard of anything like this? You come from a more civilized society.
Have I heard? Is everyone that's died here? Because if so, I do have some people. Can we look at people that have died? Are they all hanging out here? How does time work?
I'm not sure if we've brought this one back right.
Oh no, this is Iggy.
No. Yeah, that's what she's like.
It'll grow on you. To be honest, you'll sort of miss it when it's gone.
Well, no one here is dead. That's been abundantly clear, right? I cannot stress that enough. You are not dead.
But they were dead, as you so eloquently stipulated the difference.
I distinctly remember, literally, just stabbing and the limbs being torn. This is great having them back. It's fantastic. But I do remember it quite vividly. It happened.
Yes, you did die. Now you're not dead. I mean, why are you so obsessed with the past?
Well, we're mortal. You could understand that we're sort of a bit more hung up on it. I mean, again, I just want to know further limitations. If were we to go to a graveyard and dig up a loved one and drag their corpse here, could you, if we just gave them an old soak in the bath, would that...
Excellent question.
Is there a time limit?
No, just, let me put it this way. Even if you were literally a pile of dust, we could get you back.
This is incredibly powerful. How are you not immediately winning this war?
I mean, there's a lot of them, and we fight fairly.
Why?
Bringing people back to life is a bit of a cheat.
I would. Well, yes, I mean there's an argument to be made for that. There's an ethical thing.
Come on! Next, you're going to say that Governor the Smith just reforging all the weapons to lickety-split good nick is a cheat. Repairing anything that's damaged and just back in, fully polished.
I
think that's cheating?
I think this battle will just last a long time. If the enemies of the battle were coming back to life after I'd killed them, I'd have felt cheated.
I mean, surely it's a war of attrition. I mean, if they have no way of resurrecting, sure, they have larger numbers, but if you have a constantly resurrectable force, I mean, surely it's only a matter of time.
Yes.
I see.
And
so we're...
Get to it.
Right, I understand now. So we're the waves and waves of men you're sending. I understand. Yes, very good. Okay, we're expendable.
So this is like a do-over. Is there anything?
Yes, except for the enemy won't
what
be
could we do differently,
done
perhaps?
Over. Any? Did you manage to get a few 1-2s in yesterday?
Arlington definitely didn't. He just fell over.
I think I connected with one. He didn't. I mean, he'll probably have a bit of a bruise.
It looked like you ran up to him and then fell over and died. That's what it looked like.
I bounced off him.
I'll give you that.
What if?
Okay,
perhaps
I mean, that's
the eye feature. Can we, Arlington? I could make you invisible, so maybe then you won't fall over and be paralyzed quite as quickly.
That would be very useful.
That pesky eye maybe wouldn't be able to.
Well, let's not rule that out. I do enjoy the idea of being invisible in the middle of a fight, but This obsession with your army fighting one-on-one and honorably, is there any leeway in that? Could we potentially overwhelm this creature? I mean, this Baelor fellow seems to be the big thorn in the side, what with the eye beams that can annihilate a man with a single blink.
You would say that.
Well, yes, I was disintegrated, my boy. It kind of leaves a mark on you. It's the second time.
I don't know what you're talking about. I only remember. I only can you disintegrating the once.
Well, I think we can all agree that we are warriors of some pedigree. Dean Kit, would you be open to I don't know if you're a commanding officer in this regiment, but would we be able to receive some soldiers under our command that we could use tactically in this fight?
I mean, that seems very presumptuous of you, foot soldier. But I mean, you could always try. And after being healed up, you are directed towards Govnu the Smith to collect your weapons. They are all repaired, shining new. Any of the scratches on your shields, back lickety split. And this pattern of fighting, healing, repairing, rushing back in to face the Fomorians continues over the next couple of days. And over the next couple of days, is there anything the three of you want to sort of do around the camp to turn the tides of the battle? So one of them could be you could get a force of warriors, should you wish. So it's all up to you. Each of you get a...
Sorry, what's this blacksmith's name?
The blacksmith is called Govnu. Govnu.
I want to talk to him about the state that my Lair Skull Axe was in before, and I want to see if there's any way of reinstating its magical properties, or if it's something that's beyond his skills.
Yeah. As he hands you the axe back over to you, and you ask this question, Governor goes, "Well, boy, it is magical," and just looks with a very confused face.
It's just when I was in battle before, I felt that some of its properties were a bit mitigated. This creature seemed to shrug off some attacks that I know I've definitely should have connected. Do you know if there's anything, if it's on the creature's end, or if there's something? Is it broken?
Well, otherwise you're implying it's on my end, and I've done a
well
job
no.
here.
This happened before you even touched my blade. That's why I'm just consulting a professional.
Well, look, it came in a bit dinged up, but it's magical now.
All right, that's good to know.
So, any other questions you have, Mister? You're a blacksmith, are you?
No, just work
the forge daily, yeah.
All right, I can see where this is going. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, if there is anything that you want to do to kind of, it's literally your imagination is the limit. It's Dungeons and Dragons, baby. Cool. So anything you want to do. Arlington, do you want to stick with gathering a force of troops?
Yeah, I think
now that the world is your oyster.
I think Arlington, with his history of initially being sort of a bandit of the wilds and that sort of thing, I think rather than a military, he's more used to working with like a horde. So I think he's trying to assemble the more barbaric of the soldiers and sort of assemble them into a militia that can work as a strike crew. Mm-hmm. So as many of the more vicious looking soldiers, I want to try and assemble them and recruit them if I can.
You find a group of sort of hardened looking. They're sort of bulkier, a little bit larger than life, a mix of men and women warriors, and they do look like the nasty crew of the Tuireadh. And there's a little you get the feeling that when they go to the healing baths, they tell Jean Kiet leave the scar.
Right, these are my kind of boys.
Don't mind missing an eye, as they suddenly become British. But you approach this group of let's consult the dice. Right, 10 grisly looking warriors. And one of them spits on the ground and goes, "Yeah."
Can I go and help him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Knowing that he's not very good at talking to people.
Yeah,
that's very true.
But I will point out, mechanically speaking, if you help him, you won't get your own thing.
Yeah, what I mean is I will interject persuasively after he's spoken.
Like a hype man, and then I'll try and hype up your whatever you're doing.
Well, Hook won't get at whatever he's doing.
Okay,
hopefully.
maybe best to do
What I'm
3
saying
seconds.
is I'm not helping so much. I'm not helping mechanically. What I'm doing is also trying to convince them after Arlington fails.
I'm not going to do this
Okay.
with a charming sort of way with my -1 to charisma.
Mhm.
I've got my ways. Okay.
Sure.
Is this group, are they like together, or are they kind of like just, I've seen a couple of tough looking people separate around the camp? Are they like a group of tough mates?
You're asking whether you're enlisting the help of like a horde of warriors, or whether you're putting together a team.
I'm wondering if they've got a pre-existing relationship, or am I gonna have to worry about making them settle their differences and get along? Like, I'm wondering if the first one's gonna go badly until they learn their lesson.
Yes, yeah. One of them goes, "I'm happy to work with you, but I'll never work with them."
Yeah, that's what
And point,
Well,
and they're almost identical. Like just one eye missing on the left. One eye missing. Oh, if you got him on your team, I'm not working with them.
my
Ever.
friend, you understand that if the two of you were to combine your abilities, you'd have an unheard of ability this side of the military. There's magical skill called depth perception. You'll be able to tell how far away things are as you attack them. With the powers of left and right combined, you'll be unstoppable.
I'm not going to work with someone who's missing their right eye, and I'm not going to work with someone who's missing their left eye. No matter about this death perception you seem to have.
Well, all right. How about How about I attack you, and if you don't join me, I'm probably going to break your left arm. I'm going to point the guy with the missing left eye, and your right arm, and then you'll be all left. But you'll be all right, so that's fine.
Well, if all be all right, then that sounds good to me. So I guess with this, make 2 attacks, and based on the success of your crippling of these men, consider it a success or failure.
Okay.
Can I haste him then? Like secretly give him a bit of a boost?
You absolutely can, but I must stress, if you do this, you do not get to do anything.
I don't know
else.
that it's worth it. I don't think haste would help me much here. It's like strength, not speed.
And it's not about the mechanical way in which it takes you to do this. It's about the time spent.
Yeah.
So if you're busy doing this, you cannot be busy doing something else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Am I adding anything to this roll? Or is this just a strength?
It's up to Huck.
No, I won't cast anything. I'll leave you to your own devices.
I think, okay. Before I do this, I'm definitely gonna like run my hand. Like, if my axe is kind of sheathed at my hip, I'm gonna run my hand along it to try and like break some skin and make myself angry so that I can rage before I do this. So, if nothing else, to look more intimidating as like I start frothing at the mouth as I attack them.
Perfect.
I'm not gonna attack them with the axe, so I'm not gonna add that to it. But so will I just add strength and rage?
Yeah.
Cool. Then that is 14 altogether.
So you can roll twice. Sorry, are you making it reckless or not?
Oh, no? God, yeah. Sorry. God, it's been a while. Oh, I should have reckless attacked earlier on. Oh, never mind. Thank you for reminding me. That is 15 for the first one.
Cool. And for the second one?
That is 22 for the second one.
Nice. These are both hits. I can describe it for you, or I will let you. I'll let you take the floor and describe how you bring these 2 men together.
I think Arlington sort of. Are there any tables or anything nearby? Are we in like a mess hall or anything like that?
Yeah, there are. You look to one side, and there is a stack of tables. You look straight in front of you, and there's a row of ladders. And then just on the right hand side, there are some chairs.
Okay. I think the lefty, I'm gonna grab his arm as quick as I can and sort of place it over the back of the chair and like elbow down onto it, and then like in the kind of kerfuffle, I'm gonna run around to righty, put his arm behind his back, and just kind of like hold on and be like, I just wait for a split second, and in Gro's voice, I'm going to say, "You better join me or I'll break both your legs too," and then just push up and break the arm, and then I'm going to stand back and like leave them with their dismembered limbs. I'm not trying to like push it any further. Just kind of want to show them a quick show of force, and then show them like, okay, that didn't leave me out of breath.
You show some restraint after breaking both of their arms. You go, exactly, you know what?
Yeah. Arlington died recently. He's got some shit to work out.
Yes. And with this act, we we cut into the din of battle. You find yourself each time against Baelor for a round of combat. And we jump into the middle of the battlefield, and you see now these two soldiers kind of splinted together with two axes either side, and like their eyes in the middle, they haven't strapped themselves the wrong way.
Are they like three-legged race style?
Nice.
Yeah, their four legs are working perfectly fine, but like this kind of crazy action figure from the 80s with two battle axes either
Yes.
side and broken arms kind of hugging each other, keeping themselves close. They dive towards Baelor of the Evil Eye, attacking recklessly. And we see the result of your kind of work around the camp. Holy shit, natural 20.
Yeah.
Nice.
My boys, my baby boys.
But I will let you roll damage on that while we cut to Huck's kind of another day on. So every time this happens, you're doing damage to Baelor. And then ultimately, as inevitably, and sometimes you do it in wacky ways, sometimes you do it in quite emotional ways, it always ends with you dying or almost dead. But this is hitting away at Baelor's hit points because, as we know, they don't have the Well of Slania, and therefore he cannot heal up because he never, ever takes long rests. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm sticking with it. In your time, the ability of a long rest happens, so the Well of Slania is not needed.
He has too many eyes to get a little bit of shut eye.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Exactly. So you roll. Let's make it the. That was pretty successful. That was incredibly successful. So let's make it 8d6.
8d6.
You roll you roll d12s normally, right?
Yeah. So 8d12.
So let's make it 4d12s. no, let's make it 4d12s.
4d12.
Yeah. As we cut back to the camp and you're all healed up again, collecting your weapons, and Huck, you're kind of looking around to see what you might do to change the din of battle.
Okay, so can I puka/sorcerer polymorph into a bird and get an idea of the lay of the land and how the battle's going?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a spot where I can be high enough. I'm looking for a choke point in some way, shape, or form. See if we can try to lead him somewhere where I can get collateral damage with my fireball. So if I fire a fireball at him, maybe some rocks will fall off on top of him or something like that.
Yes,
I don't know
and
what
as
the
we know in
battlefield
D&D,
is, so I'm just looking for that, see if it's even there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's a very good plan. It's a plan that has killed many adventurers. The one weakness for Baelor is rocks falling and everyone dying. So yes, this is something you can totally do. Is there a particular type of bird you polymorph into?
I mean, just a falcon, a raptor of some kind. Raptor
Cool.
being a son of falcons.
Yeah, and not a flying dinosaur, which
I mean,
is where my brain
I
was.
want to see that too.
We're in the pan, right? So I could turn into a pterodactyl.
Yeah, you could be a pterodactyl.
Depending
You
on
could be a
their level.
pterodactyl. So you transform into a falcon, and as you take to the sky and have a look, it is a rolling sort of plain of rocks and marshlands, and there is one particular point further away, closer to the camp of the Fomorians, where you do see a sort of pinch point between the mountainside. You get the feeling that they come from this mountain, and if you can move the battle there one day, this will be highly successful. However, it is an endless fight through the day, through the night. There's people being healed, sent back in, wave after wave of Fomorians. So some of the people in the air have also polymorphed or druid shaped into vicious predatory animals. As you kind of soar through the sky, and as you make your way back from camp, you realize that you are being tailed by 3 barn owls.
Oh no, the bullies of the animal world, of the bird world.
Yeah. What, were you born in a barn? No, it's just their name. Maybe they are. I don't know.
They've never closed a door in their life. I tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're the evil, gruesome Fomorians and not the sophisticated Tuireadh Danann. So as these fly towards you, what would you like to do?
Okay, how high up am I?
You are like 120 feet in the sky.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to check whether or not Huck has any feasible knowledge as to the potential airspeed and or height a hawk can fly in versus an owl.
Are you pulling a how did you fix the icing problem? Is that what's happening here?
I'm just checking if Huck even knows, first of all. I'm rolling a nature
Yeah.
check. Ooh, a 19.
Okay, yeah.
I'm presuming a nature check would be equivalent.
Yeah. Nature check, which you have advantage on because being a member of the FINA.
Oh, yeah. That's a 9. So,
We don't capitalize
19,
on enough.
Yeah, 19, and then what's my nature? It's a couple of points. 3.
Yeah.
So, 22.
So now we find that classic Dungeons and Dragons thing, and again, if this is your first time playing D&D, this often happens, where the player wants to know something of which the DM has no information about.
I suspect a falcon can fly higher than a barn owl, and can cap out there. They can't reach me, is my guess.
I don't know if that is true in our world. However, it is magically true in the Xena Warrior Princess world of magic makes it happen. With a high
There's
roll
the fucking
and
t-shirt. It is magically true, which means I
magically
made
true.
it up.
In Hibernia. Yes, you are able to soar high and lose these owls amongst the crowd. You can do some. You actually know that with them having sort of lost track of you in the cloudy sky above, you could get a sneak attack in if you want, but this might then bring them back in danger. So there's kind of a risk reward here if you wanted to knock down some of the army.
Okay, so if I can, so how about I'll dive down quick as I can, just like wings in, just completely focused dive down. And should I pick a spot that is near them, I'll try aim towards them, just smack into them on the way or catch them with my claws. But if not, I'm just diving to the safety of my camp, having scoped out the area.
Yes, absolutely. So roll you can, if you want, you can pierce through them, but they might take some slashes against you.
Yeah. I don't think I have been a bird enough to
So
feel comfortable.
I have it here.
attacking.
Just roll a d20 with +3 to hit.
Okay. Oop. That's out of the thing, so there you go. 6, including the plus
6.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, you dive down into this area, and whatever way they're circling around, you notice that you almost clip one of their wings. They begin to chase you, and rather suddenly, as you kind of realize you're soaring down towards the blacksmith and the healing pools, they kind of pull back a little bit, circle around, they scope the area, and return back to camp.
Okay. Sweet. So I found a spot. I guess then my aim for one of the days might be to close that pass to briefly stop new Fomorians from coming in on their end, if I can get there in the future. That'll be my plan.
Yes, yeah. So we cut exactly to that moment where you sprint through and you're dodging through kind of attacking Fomorians, and you find yourself seeing ahead of you this rather apt, precarious rock that if an avalanche of rocks was triggered, if there was some scree caused by your explosions, you would block the path and therefore cut them off from any sort of reinforcements for a day. So I want you to roll what would this be? Maybe just a straight ranged attack against rocks. It doesn't have to. You can let me know magically wise.
I can cast 3 scorching rays from the 1 scorching ray, so I can pick 3 points. So with the rock, I'll try to pick 3 points. It's also 3 chances to hit the rock, but I'll try to pick like 3 points to destabilize it.
That's going to happen without any complications. However, I want you to roll a single d20.
Okay.
And just let me know the on dice roll.
After over 30 episodes, we're finally getting revenge on those fucking rocks.
17.
Yeah.
17. Yes, absolutely. So 17, that was just me turning the tides of the battle. And not only do you manage to, you're quite proficient with Scorching Ray in general, it's one of your go-to moves. You manage to hit it in such a place that as Baelor joins the battle on like day 5, everyone will feel and then these rocks just start kind of dink onto his head, and he looks up with his eyes and goes, "Oh no!" As this big old rock just goes splash down. Scorching Ray. What is Scorching Ray damage wise?
It's 2d6 per Scorching Ray, I think.
Yeah, so roll 66.
Okay.
I know there's rules for falling rocks, but The rules are that's how you end a session, and I'm not ready for that. So
Okay, not great. In fact, I mean 4 2s, a 3 and a 5, which is 16.
16, cool.
Do you want the damage for my initial attack, by the way, actually?
I absolutely do.
It was a total of 20 damage.
20 damage. Amazing. And then finally, you are... this battle has been going on for weeks. And it's the same thing. You're just like fighting against these wave after wave of creatures. You are honing your skills. You're finding some days you're in and it's just disintegrated. Other days you hold your own against Baelor a little bit more. And more as you keep returning to the battlefield, he is now seeking the three of you out. There's like a personal vendetta against both the goofs and the pranks that you've pulled against him and the kind of mecha warriors that you've sent his way. And Iggy, you've been kind of... You find yourself a little bit bolstered by the fact that although, each time it doesn't necessarily hurt less to die, it still feels quite traumatic. That you have some time as well to kind of affect the battlefield in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what
would you like to do?
What I think Iggy would have been doing throughout this is in ways that hopefully would help either of their plans is to try and it might be a case of, I don't know if, like, can I be practicing the phantasmal force to maybe get better at it? I don't know, how do you make your spell save DC better? I don't know, with the goal being, what I want to do is to try and make the person not be able to tell where they are, so make other Hucks, when he's doing those fireballs, trick trick Baelor into thinking Huck's actually over there shooting a fireball at like his own feet or something, and so that it's harder for that death ray to hit them. So I don't know if that's like practicing making illusions of those people, to maybe making them more realistic and like that kind of thing. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. You find yourself at times not even running into... You're so absorbed by your work and so absorbed over the slate as you kind of go through some chalk and like rub it out and try again, and you're furiously working away to kind of pinpoint a weakness in which you can sort of infiltrate the beholder's mind, and so that your illusions are sort of unshakable. And it's as if the entire campsite around you keeps rushing by, and almost as if Iggy's in like the middle of a lo-fi chill beats video. She's just working away as things are happening in the background. And you do manage to find a way to tap into what you've seen before with, say, Hook when he's using sorcerer points. There's a way to kind of double or twin the effectiveness of your spell. And instead of making it target two people, you just kind of pile on these illusions. And you've almost left your slate behind, as you've grown in confidence in your ability and ordered other warriors to be like, find me more chalk. Damn it, I've almost solved this. As like all this kind of formula and scientific knowledge wraps into one very clear view, which is, if only you had some sort of knuckle dusters with 3 chalk pieces on it, you could do 3 pictures, and that would be 3 times as strong. We got there in the end. What a callback.
She's like solved the formula backwards. It's a drawing of Hugh Jackman with an equal sign behind it, and she's worked from right to left trying to figure out how we get to Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
How do we do this?
This whole session has just been a railroad to get to Wolverine.
Yeah. And so we cut into the battle, and you have noticed, of course, that each time you return to fight against the Fomor, their numbers have been thinning, and the forces of the Tuireadh remained at full strength. And naturally, this did make the Fomorians suspicious, and you find as kind of more and more suspicion and more reports of Fomorians coming back to your camp have been sort of whispered around the area, you cast Phantasmal Force, which for this, I want you to roll it's your choice. You can either roll performance, as in how much you're able to sort of sketch well, or Arcana, which is the running joke in our show, is Arcana. You can roll an Arcana check. So your choice, roll one of those with advantage and let me know your result.
Yeah, I was thinking performance was what I was
Cool.
thinking. With advantage. Oh, thank that's 22.
Nice.
22. Yeah. It is. You not only. This is going to have not an immediate effect on Baelor, but it will have an effect for what happens next. You scratch and weave and sort of dig your way into his psyche in such a level that, like, and because he had this personal vendetta against the three of you, seeing 6 of you, 9 of you, 18 of you, I won't continue. It's beginning to haunt his dreams, and he is not getting any rest at all. You managed to do some psychological damage to him, but at the same time, you just see that he's less inclined to go his full whack every time he comes up against you. And like, he has gone from someone who's been quite controlled, being like, I control this battlefield, to just pure rage. There's a madness there's a look of madness both in his eyes and in his actions. At times when he could be killing you, he just picks up one of these standing stones and just throws it in anger towards the mountain. You did notice one of the days that 2 of his eye stalks just kind of started hitting him, and like, the stupid Baelor, and that wasn't you. It's just that this has just infected his very being so much that he has become a shell of a beholder.
Excellent.
And so
this is one of the many times when we discover that the charmingly awkward, befuddled Iggy is actually the most powerful weapon we have in our arsenal. It's just like eroding a person's sanity over weeks of malicious intent.
Yeah.
To the power of what's going on. I'll make you doubt your own brain.
Yeah.
This very day, you don't die, but you do return kind of weary and out of sort of abilities to the camp. And on your way back, you discovered that all the suspicion from the Fomorians has caused a insurrection. No, that's not the word. The word that means sneaking into somewhere.
Infiltration?
Anyway.
Insurgents?
Infiltration. Yes.
Yeah.
Under the guise of night, you learn that one of the Fomor, Ruadin, has snuck into the camp and has sort of discovered all the advantages you have. You did hear that Govnu, when he came across the forge, he struck Govnu down with a spear, impaling him. And Govnu, being a god, tore the spear from his gut and impaled Ruadin in return. But it means that your weapons can no longer be repaired.
Did
and at the same time,
Ruadin die, or is he alive?
Yeah, Ruadin died.
Govnu, no. We need answers.
That's a witness. So you learn in this bloody battle as you see 2 people. Govnu's actually fine. It's a god. No, I think Govnu in the actual story dies. So in this case, has died. And at the same time, news reaches you of the Well of Slania, and that a group of Fomorians have come in and clogged the well up with rocks and stones, sort of dulling the magical properties, and so it's no longer functioning. It's on this that you find yourself getting an uneasy night's rest, and so you find yourself one way or another on your final day of battle, because no matter which way it goes, there's no healing, there's no repairs, you won't find anything waiting for you after your clash with Baelor. And this atmosphere ripples through the camp itself. You've earned a certain level of respect with the gods of the Tuireadh and with the warriors around you. They now kind of turn to you as well as to Nuada, the king. And so Nuada leads the charge of the Tuireadh, and across the plains you see Baelor charging towards you with the full remaining force of the Fomorians. Those unable to stand have been strapped to men here, held upright to fight until their very last breath. Those unable to hold their shields and weapons aloft have strapped them to their bodies, tied on with thick leather binds. And one way or another, a side will claim this day and the war. Your time in the camp has allowed you to affect the battlefield, turning the tides however you can imagine might help. And in so, throughout this day, throughout this encounter, each of you get a flashpoint, something you can say you also tried to do, and depending on your roles, sees how successful you were in doing it. It can just be this moment where you decide, you know what, this is how I would have prepared for that. as you fight off against Baelor the Beholder in one last battle. Everyone roll initiative.
Oh wait, are we doing the flashpoints or are we doing a fight first?
You can choose them during your turn,
Oh,
or
yes.
like
Okay.
They're like
yeah.
retcon points.
Right. Gotcha.
yes,
Gotcha,
yes,
gotcha,
exactly.
gotcha.
Yeah, you can use those retcons.
Oh, I rolled very badly.
Same.
Okay, well, I haven't done this at all. I don't think I should do a 25 to 20. Just let me know what you got. We normally do 25 to 20, 50 to 20, etc., etc.
It's easier with 3 people. You just kind of shout when you've done the maths. Ireland, I got a 5 for Arlington in the initiative.
Cool.
I got a 6.
Great.
I got a 13, so I guess that's me going first.
Nice.
And I thought that was bad.
Yeah. You don't know how well Baelor has done.
Yeah.
So let me just organize my files.
He can't be fast.
There
He
we
doesn't
go.
even have any legs.
You ride into battle behind King Nuada, and as you all kind of clash together, this time compared to the beginning, it is a no holds barred, put it all on the line kind of fight. The initial day one, where people sort of gave you some space around Baelor, that isn't necessarily happening this time. It's like you've got a little bit of space around the standing stones, but it is crunched down. It is a much tighter fight. It's a bit more of a skirmish. And as Baelor floats towards you, to almost kick it off in a slow motion style, you see one of his eye stalks straight towards Nuada, and it fires out. And you see this in slow motion, this tiny little thread. And you can see it from pulling back and seeing all these forces around this one circular moment. And it hits, and Nuada falls back off his horse. And as he floats to the ground, disappears into dust. And in the distance, you hear a mighty roar. You know that one person who hasn't been part of this battle since day one has been Lou. Lou Lavada, Lou of the Long Arm, who is Baelor's grandson. And he has had a personal guard on him to stop him riding into war, because he's one of your greatest warriors and you don't want to lose him. And upon the news of Nuada being slain reaching his ears, he rips from his binds, pushes aside his guards, and rides into battle, singing a song and chant of courage. That song he sings is "Death before disco,
Nice.
my men, my women, my friends.
Nice.
Death before disco." And giving you all 1d12 temporary hit points, which is a 10. So you all get 10 temporary hit points as you're filled with the song of courage as Lou rides in. And this sort of maelstrom of spears and swords, he just seems to be stacked to the nines with weapons. One of his spears he throws out and it sort of whistles around, stabbing 3 Fomorians before returning to his hand. He shunts someone with his shield. His shield actually looks a lot like your shield, Arlington.
One might say identical?
It's odd. One might say identical, yes. But there's no phasing out Back to the Future style here. And he does whip out a sword.
Yeah, I've got a photo of my parent on the inside of my shield.
No! He whips out a sword which you recognize as Fragorok, the Retaliator. And with it, he seems to be zipping through the crowd, the speed of the wind, slicing.
As he runs past, I'm going to nudge Iggy and be like, "Oh, look, cosplay!
We have rolled initiative amongst the thundering charging of warriors, amongst the explosions and the dust firing up into the air, and the one take shot of this battle. Huck, it is your turn first.
Okay, so how far am I away from Baelor, or is it just people in front of me?
No, you are within. Actually, I'll let you decide. How far do you want to be?
I'm going to be up to him. So I'm thinking about my pre-plan idea, and I'm hoping to pre-plan with Iggy the set multiples of myself. The plan being to kind of like a mirror image in an anime kind of thing. Have him not be sure which one is me, and to all plan a fireball at him.
Yes.
So in a kind of surrounding him with multiple, so he'll have a decreased chance of being able to hit me because he'll hit an illusion possibly.
Yes, yeah. So we'll say, so you're using this kind of flashpoint ability to sort of set the odds in your favor
Yeah,
for this
so
particular move.
pre-planned with Iggy. Maybe she's like mostly drawn all the pictures so that she only has to
Hmm.
finish them off at the right time or something. Like
Oh yeah,
so it's
that's
not
good.
a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah, let's say that
affair.
Iggy gave you a scrap of parchment that, when set alight and burns, and so you have control over it. So when it burns up and kind of disappears, it sets off the spell.
Mhm.
So instead of reading it like a spell scroll, you're able to kind of set it aflame and put forward this series of events.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that happens. All of you see as you charge into battle, Hook lighting up this piece of paper, and as it kind of catches flame and disappears, 12 hooks circle around Baelor, almost one per hour on a clock, completely encircling him. And he is frantic. He's panicked. He's looking around, and he's using his big anti-magic eye to just see if it's going to cause any difference. And the level of preparation, the kind of power that Iggy has put into this, as well as being kind of surrounded by godlike abilities and having the knowledge of the gods to help fortify the spell, means that nothing is happening. And with that, Baelor just decides to pick a spot. I've rolled a d12. Keelan, I would like you to roll a d12.
Okay. Is it just going to be if they're the same number, or is it highest number wins?
It's going to be the same number and one either side, because the anti-magic cone fires out. So
Right.
it's kind of
Ooh.
I will
so
roll. I rolled an
Anti-magic
11.
cone is going to cripple us.
nice. So you see, oh man, it's an exact 180. I rolled a 5. So you see Baelor turn and go, I have you. And as these ice stalks come up, all like like mecha style, and point in your direction, you have a direct attack on his back. He's not going to roll a dexterity saving throw because he's not expecting this attack.
Perfect.
A magic sneak attack. Ever in the history of D&D.
All right.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, there's a chance I could miss. Not a great one, but
No, it's fireball, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna hit because it has to be his. Actually, sorry, I'll do it with disadvantage. That's only fair.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you only got a 6. You got a 4 plus 2, which I think is the beholder's. I think, but anyway, too low to have dodged. So full whack of your
So
fireball.
I'm using the fourth spell slot again, so it'll be
Mhm.
9d6, which should be And
That
then
noise.
Yeah, that's a good noise. I felt like I was playing Snakes and Ladders at age 12.
yeah.
Just
One
start
of those
playing with a
cups.
cup again. Remember that? Maybe you used to play with
Yeah.
a cup.
Okay, so that's at least 20, and then 26.
26.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, 26. Is that how that works? Yeah, it wasn't a great roll.
Describe for us like how this. I didn't give you the moment earlier, that kind of heroic fireball moment. So can you describe for us in the audience like how the spell fires off and what it looks like in the battlefield?
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose in honor of the t-shirt that I'm wearing, he's going to go into a kind of Kamehameha pose and have the 12, the 12 other hucks also be going into that. And then right at the moment, just classic, so holding the big fireball behind me and then blasting it out, which going to grows to 20 feet in size and or radius, I suppose, and then blast across. Usually, I think the explosion is 20 feet. I don't know about the actual sphere. Let's say this one, very well prepared. It's a 20-foot sphere.
Yeah, so it's a 20-foot radius, 40-foot sphere, and in the center of this battlefield, this huge explosion. So you were able to place yourself where you needed to be, and we'll say that you were 41 feet away. In the center of this explosion, just poof, and it's at that moment in time, as all this flame and fire wraps around Baelor, that he looks and notices that one of the hooks was slightly outside of the circle. And he spots you and is furious. You can just smell this burning flesh in the air. Plumes of smoke go up. Some of his eye stalks are just like, it's like the actual ball has just been burnt off away from it. It's just stuck like Andros in the Lilac War games. It's just, he pulled back some of his skull. It is his turn, and as he turns towards you, he closes his eye so that the rest of his magic can still work, and 3 of these stalks point in your direction.
Okay.
He is going to fire off stalk after stalk. The first one being and you've seen this before, it's that dark, sickly, ashy colored ray, probably not the real color in D&D, but the color in this, as it pins towards you, and you need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Well then, I am going to use Tides of Chaos, my once-off thing, to give me advantage.
Yes.
On the thing. The unfortunate result being, and I should actually roll before that for the fireball, whether or not wild magic occurred. No. Oh wow, that was close. That was a 2. Right. So I'll use Tides of Chaos. That gives me advantage for this roll, and then I'll roll. I'm so glad I rolled advantage. That was a 3. So this really needs to work. Just finding my dex stat. This isn't going to go well. That is a 9, and again, trying to find my. Where is it? Sorry, I'm new to the D&D Beyond app, which I switched to. Dex. Yeah, +3. So 12.
12 in total. It is unfortunately not enough.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? No. Probably it's not going to help, because I was going to say I can bend luck with a sorcery point. I try to lower it by 1d4. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
You can do if you want.
Yes.
Because you can add it to your saving throw, right?
Oh yeah, I can actually. I can add the 4 to myself. I think if a creature's making an attack, I can plus or minus it. I don't know about myself, but sure.
Yeah, for the purpose of this.
Cool. Yeah. 3. So it's 15.
Unfortunately, you were 1 away.
Oh no.
The 4 would have done it, and you would have been absolutely fine. You take 45 points of force damage.
Okay, and I had 10 bonus points of damage before?
Yes, yeah.
Cool, so...
does that reduce you to 0 hit points?
Nope. Because of the 10 bonus health, it puts me on 8.
Nice. You feel your armor and your cloak and your clothes just sort of fizzle away into dust. You're left bare-chested and raw. With Hulk mode kind of clothes, and to play into your Kamehameha, you're left Goku torn warrior clothes.
Nice.
With this sort of energy just rippling around you, as you feel like almost your brain is like just losing water, and like your skin is shriveling up, and you're about to just kind of dust, and as almost all the life is forced out of your body, you hold on with the fury of a brave adventurer facing off against an enemy that might be too much for it. That is its first eye stalk.
Yeah, this isn't going well.
Yeah.
But everything you have to survive one of its 5 attacks.
I forgot it was its first eye. I was like, oh no, this is the first one.
I mean, there's a reason they're just this heralded as the D&D boss. Like, they're fucking scary.
Yeah.
I have counter spell as well. That I've never actually used, but I presume I can do that.
I think these count as abilities, not spells.
That's what I was going to check. I didn't think it was relevant, so I hadn't asked. And then I have shield for a reaction, but that's AC based, so I don't know how this is.
Yeah, but I have added in madness into this mind of Baelor, and I'm basically between each eye stalk rolling a d20, and if it's below 10, it changes its tactics. If it's above 10, it sticks with them. And I got a 9. So it's going to decide.
Drove this thing insane. Class.
Yes, yeah, it's there just kind of firing off. And it's not necessarily that it's choosing to do it. It's just that when it goes to use one of its eye stalks, it discovers too late that it's already been fired in another direction. So towards the both of you, you see... hold on. Both of you, I mean Arlington and Iggy. You see one of the standing stones just raise up and get tossed in your direction as this kind of rolling boulder comes in your way, and I need you to make dexterity saving throws.
You could retcon me hasting you if you wished.
Where are we? I roll a 16, but I get to add because of my shield mastery feat, I get to add my shield AC to single target saves. Does that count here, or is it kind of like an AoE sort of thing?
No, it counts here. So Arlington, you take 6 damage, and Iggy, you take 13 bludgeoning damage as this boulder just boof, 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 and it's almost that it just bounces at a level that it kind of smacks over you and then takes out some of the soldiers behind it.
Hang on, so mine was a 16 total, and if I fail, I take half damage because of my feat. Does that affect it at all?
So you take no damage then because you succeeded.
Yeah, that's sorry. I don't know if I said the number. I wasn't sure if it's only for single target spells. I think that I get to add the shield AC.
Well, then take it away, but you still succeeded on
14,
your first roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Sorry, what was yours again?
14.
13.
Sorry.
13. Sorry, I thought you said 15. Wes, no?
Sorry, excuse me. I rolled 14, making it a 16, and it's 18 with my shield plus. So sorry, minus that it's 16. Yes. I've overcomplicated this. I apologize.
You've got above 15, and you are A-okay, taking half damage, which is 6. Rolled again for the Beholder. It's going to continue with this tactic of changing its mind on below 10. So turns back towards Hook, and Hook, as one of this eyes just kind of snake-like moves in your direction, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, right.
Sorry, what he's rolling. How much damage did I take from that at half? Sorry, I missed the number.
6.
6, grand. Thank you.
All right, I've got one more trick up my sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hard to say. Dexterity, so that's 15. I could use... you know what? I'm really going to go for it, because I'm probably going to die.
The stakes have never been higher.
I'm using my halfling puka luck to roll 1d20 again. Christ. Oh, that's 15, so 18?
18, yeah. That's exactly... well, not exactly what you needed, but any port in a storm. You see this kind of wispy, smoky ray come towards you, and it's kind of hard to time, right? It's just kind of moving kind of erratically slow and fast. But you do manage to dodge it, and you get the feeling that if it had hit, you would have just found yourself kind of trapped in a time-slow bubble. But you succeeded. That is the end of Baelor's turn, and seeing itself surrounded just rises up into the air about 30 feet. Iggy, you are up. What would you like to do?
The multiple hooks.
Sorry, 20 feet. Boulders can't rise 30 feet in the air. They can only rise 20 feet in the air. They can fly and hover 20 feet.
Cool. I'm even though the multiple hooks, that was a phantasmal force. I don't have to be doing that like with concentration right now, right?
No, that was Hook's flashpoint ability. That was him kind of saying, "I'm going to use this one once off." Hail Mary.
Okay, because I definitely would want that to be kind of continuing, but I'm going to try and kind of in the same sense that I feel like I'm really fucking with this guy's head, I'm going to try and cast Dissonant Whispers to kind of just try and freak him out more.
Yeah, what do I need to do?
Cool.
Make a wisdom
saving throw.
Natural 1.
Nice.
Just something about your own voice, the voice of his torment, the voice of his nightmares. So describe Dissonant Whispers to us.
Yeah, well, so Dissonant Whispers is I whisper a discordant melody that only one creature of your choice can hear it, racking it with terrible pain. They must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, there's damage, but on a successful save, it was half damage as well. And so it's 66, 23 psychic damage.
66.
I mean, 66. Wow.
Is that because it says I can cast it on a higher spell slot? So can I cast it as a 4th level spell because I haven't cast one of those? I have a spell slot.
Yes, but usually you shouldn't wait until you find out whether the creature has succeeded or failed to say what level the spell is.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit tricksy.
Okay. So, I haven't done that before, and I just noticed.
So 26 damage?
Yeah, so that was 23 psychic damage.
26?
23.
Cool. I also believe there's 23, sorry. I believe there's another part of that spell where they have to use the reaction to move as far away from you as possible.
Yes, and so and I was hoping in that sense, and I don't know if this is the retcon thing, is that if there was that place that Huck had seen would be a good like a vantage point, kind of a corner, if we could have kind of planned this so that if this worked, this would help push him into that corner near the rocks that can
Yeah,
fall.
absolutely. Rules is written as they just have to move away from you, so you are the point.
Yeah.
But you can use your flash points to move them into this sort of pinch between the rocks. Below
Yeah,
me.
that I'm thinking that we would
So
have
he
planned for
moved another
this.
20 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You've managed to kind of push him back into that space.
Cool.
Nice.
At the end of your turn, is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, I believe so.
At the end of your turn, because you have your bonus action,
Mhm.
if you want to use it, or
Oh, yeah,
your
I'll
movement.
probably I'll inspire Huck as I'm doing it. I'm gonna shout to him like, even though there's loads of you, you're the best one.
It inspires you because you know it to be true.
Yeah.
And at the
Oh,
end
very
of Baelor's turn, or sorry, at the end of your turn, Iggy, Baelor uses one of its legendary actions, and one of its eye stalks points towards you as it fires out again this wispy. Oh, sorry, never mind. It fires out a sort of rather lightning-like, kind of erratic, crackling, dark black, but black where there's like a hint of purple around it, beam towards you. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Ooh.
Strength.
Is Iggy strong?
Sorry, Constitution saving throw. My mistake.
That's worse.
Yeah, true.
15.
Sorry, Constitution saving throw. 15 is not enough, unfortunately, as you take 36 points of necrotic damage as this enervation ray just and smacks into you, and you can feel it kind of crackling around you, and part of you gets a little bit jittery about it. It's not the first time you've had one of these, given the weeks you spent on the battlefield, but no less does it feel any more comfortable, like grabbing onto an electric fence of pain.
Yeah.
That's brings us on to
do I tell you that
Arlington's turn,
because I'm 33 hit points right now, so that's
including your temporary hit points.
Lost those, so I was on.
You're still alive, though, right?
Yeah.
How does that work? Yeah, so I got 36 damage and I was on 33.
Oh.
Then you fall unconscious on the battlefield as this racks through you. And
the way I'm
pins you
imagining that is that I'm staring him down because I feel like I've gotten to really get like we're on this cycle, this battle, so that even as I kind of fade away and I'm possibly dead, I'm still smiling with a kind of like, haha, I know you, and like a little smile as I'm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
As you crumble back and sort of land against one of the standing stones to keep yourself still upright and creepily smiling. On your turn, we'll be doing death saving throws. That's fun.
They're terrifying.
Yes. Which brings us to Arlington's turn. Arlington, this creature is 40 feet away and 20 feet into the sky.
Okay. I think are there any forces in between me and him, or is it kind of open? Like, could I make it, or do I have to work my way through soldiers?
There are people fighting and there are people battling, but they're all engaged with each other, so you can run through without taking any sort of attack of opportunities.
I would like to. I'm going to run up with my. I realize I never named my band of merry adventurers, and I'm going to call them the Phantoms after my beer.
Ooh, the Phantoms!
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to like assemble them, call them to me with my shield in the air, start sprinting towards this big one-eyed Aegis, and I'm gonna. I suppose it would take an action. I basically want to start throwing the guys at him up the 20 feet, which I imagine would take an action per person.
Because you have a shield and this is fantasy land with fantasy rules and fun, you can kind of like you've practiced this in the camp where they jump up and you punt them with the shield.
Oh, perfect. Yes. Then I absolutely want to do that. So yeah, I kind of like position myself underneath the, oh my god, his name, Baelor.
Baylor.
Baylor,
Yeah.
excuse me. Underneath Baylor, and kind of like a Mario or a Sonic the Hedgehog springboard underneath, so they can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to make them kind of attack one after another, like kind of like arrows being fired from an Arlington bow.
Roll a d4,
A D4.
just to see how many you can get off in one go. It's
there are
kind
10 of
depending
them.
on. Yeah.
Okay. That is a 2.
So 4. So you can do 4 with an action.
Cool.
And that's only because it's 6 seconds. So even just bam, 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 bam.
Is that a time limitation? If I use my action surge, could I get another bunch of them up?
Get another 4 up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to use my action surge.
Right, yes.
That's another 2.
So another 4.
Nice.
Bouncing up.
8
so you got
boys.
8 of your men firing. Sorry, 8 of your men and women. I don't know what your band. I don't know what the phantoms are made up of.
It's boys, girls, another.
Yes, and I will roll an attack roll with advantage.
Attack roll. Ooh, that's good. So that is what do I add to this? Just what do I add the layer skull?
Add your strength modifier.
Strength is going to be 21.
Cool. Yeah. I was like, your strength is not 21.
No, sorry, total of 21.
Yes. Yeah. So that hits. 8 of the phantoms bounce up in the air. What would you like them to do as they all soar? Yeah.
I think we've been practicing. I think Arlington's been teaching them battle tactics in time with music. So he's been like playing songs so they can get their timing right. So I think they kind of like hit in a sort of rhythmic sort of like dun 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 dun, dun, like he's got a rhythm of battle sort of set up, but he's told them to aim for the eyes. So I think the first batch of 4 went for the big singular eye, and the rest are kind of like trying to swing and slash at his eye stalks. So
absolutely.
So it's like eye, slash. So they're kind of like maintaining their rhythm.
Yes. So all of them hit. If you allow me, I would like to call this move weights and measures.
Absolutely. Very fitting.
Because it's the weights and measures tactic. Each of them will be a d6, so roll 8d6.
Ooh. Okay.
Let's make it fun and wild and crazy as you send all these people. Ba-boing, da-boing, da-boing, da-boing,
That's as much damage as a standard fireball.
13. It's 15. 17. 18. So that's 24. And then last one. 25 altogether.
Okay.
I only have 1d6 to hand. I'm not Hook or Gav.
Yes, true. Let me just do some quick maths. 25. Baylor looks torn to shreds.
Nice.
Psychologically, his mind is raisin, and you did manage to roll 2d10s for me there. I don't want the total number. I want each number on the dice.
So that is a 6 and a 3.
Your men have managed to slice off 2 of Baylor's eye stalks.
Ooh, nice.
The one that represents a 3 and a 6. So if he gets them, they're gone. They're tiny little lizard tails sliced off at the stem. He is bleeding, and from the sky, just like pools of blood are gushing out of him. At the end of your turn,
oh wait, just if that's happened, I think the perfect way to end my turn is I still have my bonus action. I want to wait till the blood splashes down on me, and then Arlington's going to rage and like roar at like Arnie at the end of Predator with covered in mud, kind of like, "Nah, I'm going to kill you," which I think is what he says at the end of Predator. But just use my bonus action, and that sounds quite thematically barbaric.
Yeah. Drenched in a waterfall shower of blood, to the rhythm of the song which you taught the phantoms, you find yourself, quite stacked and quite soaked, raging. With that, Baylor looks towards you, and one of its eyes goes to make an attack. It's the one, as luck would have it. You just see a little twitch of one of the cut off stalks as he's just like, and cannot manage to fire off this ray at you. That is the end of your turn. It's legendary action. From the sky, you see more kind of spears kind of fly over and sink into him. From to your left-hand side, Madeline McLear comes into battle and looks at you and goes, "Oh, well, boy, you know what? Not the time or place, but you look the spit of a man I meet thousands of years from now. Anyway, let's get at this." And this big
This whole
barrel-chested
battle is a
bearded
time paradox.
and from the back, you hear that mighty roar of Lou as you hear just a woof, 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 woof. And you've heard legend of Lou's sling and Lou's shot. And you know that the prophecy is that Lou will kill his grandfather Baelor at some point during this battle. It is top of the round, and you know when the time is right, he's going to let this stone loose.
He's going to steal our fucking XP, this motherfucker.
He's going to steal your XP, but not until on my sheets, this beholder's at 0 HP. So, top of the round. Huck, you are up. Balor is just slowly sinking to the ground, seemingly not even having the energy to keep himself afloat anymore.
Okay.
I can't wait till we take his health down low enough.
You ran away from Iggy and Iggy's down. Is that what
Yes.
happened? But he
Iggy
ran away
is down.
towards the rocks, sufficiently towards the rocks that I could aim for rocks to hit down on top of him, or...
You could aim for rocks if you want. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to use a twinned spell on a Scorching Ray, which is arguable whether or not you can do it, but we've done it before. Because I can hit 3 different ones.
But you fucked up before, Ben, so
He's
sticking
the
to
site
it.
president.
Yeah.
They're just separate single targets.
Yeah. So it's going to be 6 Scorch Rays. Each 2d6. But it's to aim at as many rocks as possible rather than Baelor himself.
Before you do it, like I want anyone out there just screaming with "This is wrong! This is not how you play! This breaks the rules!" It contact Keelan. Like at a certain point, the game's out of my hands.
Good luck.
We have his personal phone number and his home address on our Twitter. You can hassle him all you want.
Yeah.
Spell. Yeah, I think you can use it. We've used it before, but it's arguable whether or not it's a single target spell.
Well, the mountain, right? Mountain's a singular target.
Yeah.
Just so happens to be popping rock zits off its face. Yeah, cool. Make 2 attacks.
Cool.
Or 6 attacks if you want to do it that way. But I'm happy for you to just do 1 roll per 3 rays.
For the first 3. Whether or not I miss the rocks. That's 12 plus, I think, 8. So 20.
Yeah.
And 26.
Yeah, 6 perfectly timed rock explosions on top of.
I'm dual wielding finger guns to.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Thanks to Iggy pushing him towards the rock.
Hi, laddie. It's high noon.
This is for Iggy, and then
To anyone who's paying attention to the battle, it just seems like you're purposely missing, but it's that classic action movie thing where you're just like, poof, and Baylor's like, you missed.
Did I?
Coming down. Roll your damage.
What's 12d6?
Boy, it sure is a shame that Iggy's the one that's unconscious now because we can't fucking help with that. I don't even think I have any health potions.
She's already being dragged back by one of the clerics before they go, "Oh, the well's broken. Leave her to rot."
I'm sure we can pull some rocks out of it, like find a pool. Okay, 12d6.
12d6.
I literally have no health potions to
damage
bring
the
you back
rocks.
inside.
So I guess I should just roll 2d6 at a time, I suppose. But
can I give you a little peek behind the scene? Even if you get 1 on all of these dice, you're fine.
Okay, well, let's
so while you roll those dice and while you count them up to see how catastrophic this is, I'll kind of paint the end game.
Just see how fine you are.
That's among the best rolls I've ever had with loads of. I mean, most of them are 5s. So
shame you didn't need it.
Yeah, I know exactly. Those are 4. So 6 times 5 is 30. 4 times 4 is 16. So 46. And then 6, which makes it 52.
With 6 hit points left, and 52 points of damage. You see from behind you, Lou kind of go woof, 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 with this tiny little pebble in his sling. He fires it off. And simultaneously, that little pebble and all these rocks crush in over Baylor, instantly killing him. And from behind you, Lou just goes, "Prophecy fulfilled." And to this day, we are not sure if Lou got the final touch or if it was actually Huck of Huck's Punks. That is where we will end the adventure. As you all get raised up on the shoulders of the Tuireadh Danann, and they go, "Huck's Punks, Huck's Punks, woo!" And Lou's like, "Lou."
Fuck you, Lou.
Iggy, you were revived back to full health, and as your eyes kind of come to, you find yourself just sitting around a pleasant evening's campfire, with a little crow sitting, a little raven sitting in a tree, which just gives a little wink to the camera. Wow. That's where the adventure ends. Thank you so much for watching Homebrew, the show where we help you and us avoid crushing dullness of everyday life or rocks using alcohol and Dungeons & Dragons. Thank you so much to Gaelcon Previews for having us sort of preview Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition when you follow none of the rules, and how to play a game where there is rule books and you ignore them. But we are Homebrew. We do a lot of homebrewed stuff in the show. It tends to be really cool. We have character sheets for pukas as playable characters, for extra special weapons based on Irish mythology, all that kind of stuff. You can find that on our Discord, which you can find a link for on our social channels. So if you enjoyed the show, if we gave you a little bit of respite from the wonders of Gaelcon, and a little bit of break from rolling your own dice, let us know how your adventures are going at Homebrew Quest. And if you want more of this nonsense, you can watch us on YouTube at Homebrew Quest, or if you prefer podcasts, just search Homebrew Quest into any of your favorite podcast apps. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll see you soon, and hopefully we'll see you in virtual person at Gaelcon. We'll be there kind of doing some stuff around the place, so hopefully we get to say hello. Until then, look after yourselves and be sound.
I've been practicing my wave.
You've got it at any point now, so that's fine.
Ah.